Yeah, give me that one. All right. Check, check. Cool. Hey, how's it going, buddy? That was fast. You're fast. It's funny, I actually, I just watched the video the other day of PUBG where you scream. Like, you know, I edited in where you scream. It was funny. I laughed. I enjoyed it. It was good times. Okay. Not great. You know, just in honesty, I ended up having to leave my job. And I've been on the hunt trying to find work, and I haven't been lucky yet. I've had a couple interviews, and I've gotten good feedback from the interviews. My largest issue thus far has just been time. So, you know, I've asked for like, hey, you know, I just need to, you know, I want to understand, you know, like what I can do to improve and, you know, what I can do to grow within the space. So I would love feedback on, you know, the interview that we had. Oh yeah, sure, we loved you, but it really fell down to time and experience in the space. You know, so I gave a little pushback. You know, hey, I'm really actually pretty experienced. You know, if you ended up talking to a lot of the agencies that exist out there, I'm in a really good spot. You know, a lot of other people don't have the education that I've received. You know, and that helps me to stand out to other individuals. You know, over other individuals. And, you know, I know it's hard to see from the outside sometimes, but blah, 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 here's this, here's that. And just haven't really gotten all that lucky in that aspect. All right, so let's do, what is this, 459. So it's probably this one, 433, 345. Blood Surge, Bone Spear. I mean, I don't need either of those, but that's fine. But yeah, other than that, if I can, you know, if I can get some work, I'll be in a pretty healthy space. Just gotta find some work. You know, gotta pay bills and all that stuff like normal human beings, right? So, how about yourself? How's everything going with life? I think, were you also looking for work the last time we talked? I thought you were. I know it's been a while, and, you know, I apologize that I haven't been on as much. Obviously, my job at the time had kind of taken a large shift of that. No, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. I'm confident that it will end up working out in the long run. It can just be kind of taxing right now because, you know, you want something to happen, and that's life, you know. That's life. That's what the sheeple say. I do want Golem life and damage because that's important to my character right now. And then we're gonna do the upgrade to the sword. So that way I can get the extra damage value out of it that I want. So leveling is easier. And then we're gonna go do some main story missions. Yeah, and it's been making me want to get back into this, you know. I definitely don't have the audience because I've been so distant, and most of them aren't going to come over from Twitch, even though right now Twitch is like falling apart. I mean, they're losing top streamers. Everyone's just like mass exodus out of Twitch right now. You know, XQC's on Kick now, Amaranth's on Kick now. A lot of people are moving to Kick as a platform. I mean, it's basically a Twitch clone. The only difference is the streamers get a whole lot more money, you know? And so I'm sure that if people think about it, you know, like, oh, well, if XQC has, I don't know, 40,000 subscribers, I'm sure someone did the math and said, well, as long as we hold him for, you know, 2 years, he's going to be worth X amount of dollars, or, you know, whatever they come up with. I don't know. I'm sure they've done the mathematics for it and the analytics for it. All the people that they don't have to pay out, that they're going to get, you know, money from. And I don't know how all their revenue works. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert in that. Does the stream look pixelated at all? Does it look like bad or good or anything? Do you have any feedback or details? It looks fine. Okay, to me it looks like kind of pixelated, but it's just the preview. You know, it's hard for me to tell. I appreciate the quick feedback. But yeah, I don't know how all their like math works for all the different aspects. I do know that their revenue split for subs is 95-5. That's all I know. But I thought they had like some sort of like instant cheering method, you know, like kind of like bits. And I thought the payout for that was a lot less. And maybe that's their incentive, is like, we know that a lot of these streamers do a lot more instant gratification, you know, effects instead of subs. And if that's the case, like, we'll make a lot more money. I don't know. No, it was 50-50, and now it's actually to the point where it's like 70-30 or something. Like Twitch is getting 70% and the streamer's only getting 30. I don't remember. But it's stupid. Like, the only way that you can qualify for a different split is if you're a better partner. Maybe it's 50-50 and then it's 70-30 if you're a better partner. It's bad. It's the worst in the space is all I know. It's literally the lowest value that a content creator can make. Mixer was the best. Well, not with Kick, but at the time, Mixer was the best revenue split. Because it was like the content creator would get, I think, 80% and Twitch was 50-50. And YouTube was like 70-30 or something like that. But yeah, Kick is 95-5. It's literally the content creator gets 95% of the benefit of a sub, which is a lot. I mean, that's like almost double your revenue, realistically speaking. And so when you're thinking about small time streamers and small time creators, that's huge. Like, you have a lot of buy-in as a creator, as a small time creator, to go over there. That's, I mean, it's not probably ideally livable, because, you know, you still need like 150 subs in order to be minimum wage, something like that. But that's still, you know, it's functional. If you were getting 150 subs over there a month, like, you'd be doing pretty well. And that's, you know, gifted or otherwise, but they still have a lot of work to do with their platform. I mean, tons. They don't have clips yet. They don't have a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of like base functionality that's just completely missing, and that's fine. Like, you know, if a platform wants to take the time to grow, fantastic. They can take the time to grow, and, you know, turn into something better. Great. I mean, I was in the same boat with Mixer when I was over there, and I loved the vibe and the feel of the Mixer community, and that's what everyone says, you know. But the difference is, like, I think, because of discoverability and how Twitch mechanics works, it turned more into like dog eat dog instead of how Mixer was like constantly benefiting people, you know, creators benefiting other creators, because they realized how the system worked. So it created that attitude. You had things within the platform that created that attitude. Whereas Twitch, you have things within that platform that destroy or are destructive to the community. So then naturally content creators get rude to other content creators. They're non-cooperative, you know, to other people, and then you build that community. So it's not just the creators building the community; it's the platform and the tools that they have in order to you know, create that environment. Tell me about you, man. How's life going with you? How's everything? It's been so long, you know. But I want to try and be here a little bit more while I don't have a job. You know, if I do get a job and it gets in the way, then yeah, that's a problem. But if I don't have any work, then I might as well get something kind of working here, I guess. I don't know if it'll ever work out. You know, there's people who make a whole lot more and accelerate a whole lot more quickly than I do. And I know that there's a lot of work into like, oh, you have to post on Reddit and you have to do this and you have to do that and you constantly have to be on the internet. I get it. That's definitely not for me. The constant stuff, like if it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. But I like the people that I'm around, you know, like you and Medic and Antoine and Smurf and all my community friends. Like, I've built such good relationships that I just, you know, I want to do what I can. Tried out streaming. How'd everything go? What'd you play? Did you play Shadowline with Medic or Sons of the Forest or something? TF2? Cool. I know that there's still like a community for it, but in the streaming aspect, it's pretty milked. You know, it's more or less dead. Like, I know that there's plenty of people who still play games, but there are very, very few people who are interested in TF2, and just mostly because of age. It just, you know, it's wearing its age. No one's interested because it's been out for so long. And it's not like a retro game, you know, it's not so old that it's cool again. It's just old. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, bots are there and everything else is within the environment, and you know, they've got to fill worlds and servers and all that stuff, and all the people who run a server, you know, they fill bots to make the game at least entertaining while they wait for their friends to hop on, or, you know, things like that. So like, I get it. I've been there. I ran a Counter-Strike server. You know, you have to make the game fun and engaging for the people who are there, at least to draw their attention. It is what it is. What else have you been playing lately? And congrats on turning an adult. I'm sure you're probably, from what I remember, old enough to have already fallen under that bandwagon, like old enough to understand the severity of your decisions and the choices that you make. But yeah, legally speaking, I get it. You get reminded on a daily basis. You mean like you being mature or having to deal with stuff? Are you moving out, or like, are you staying with your parents, or like staying with family or anything like that? And you don't have to answer, like, if anything's too personal, of course. I mean, you know me, you know how we do things. I'm just asking to make conversation because I care. Still living with a family? Cool. If you have the opportunity, like if you're in a position where that's acceptable, take it. I know a lot of people don't always jump on that. I mean, as soon as I turned 18, I wanted out, you know, moved out, that kind of a thing. And it's not always the easiest thing, especially monetarily. That can be really, really challenging. So make sure you're in a position to succeed. Make sure you're in a position that you don't have to, you know, worry about your problems or concerns or anything like that related to money. Just focus on what you can and call it a day. Nice. What's the major? Or just like exams like high school? Like, are you doing like post-secondary or? Mechanical engineering. Look at you son of a bitch. Good stuff. So you've got like your trade work. My fiance had someone at work who he left their current job to go start welding, and he's been trying to get her to come start welding because it's such good money, you know. Here. I don't know about the rest of the world. It could be better in the rest of the world. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely get the jack of all trades thing. I've done everything. It's silly. It gets a little scary sometimes because you never really feel like you're good at anything. At least that's how I feel. A lot of people say that, but you get in this position where you never really feel like that you're great at anything or good at anything because you do so much in so many different trades and so diverse of a world that you're like, yeah, I mean, I could probably do that. I can do that. I can probably do that. And then people are like, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And this is why this does this and this and this. And you're like, whoa, slow down. I just make the thing do that boop thing. That's it. That's all I know. I know enough. You're gonna have to relax, bud. You know, they turn into like experts, and it's the same thing with streaming. You know, most of the people who are in this who do really, really well, you know, they're like experts at content creation and marketing and everything like that. All they do is like eat, breathe, sleep this, until they get to a point where they have so much following that they don't have to anymore, and then they just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride. Which that's cool. That's cool. It's like retiring, you know, just you're still making money for it. I just turn a wheel and I get something. Yeah. That's my kind of job. Ah, cool. That did a thing. Lit. That's what I wanted. That's what I practiced for. So, question for you: did you ever get into like the ARPGs? You know, Diablo and Pillars of Eternity, or Path of Exile? You know, that kind of stuff. Fallout, the original Fallout games. Obviously not Fallout 3, 4. Those are all FPSs, but not really. Okay, just wondering. You know, I know everyone's kind of got their cup of tea. I've always loved Diablo. I played Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, all the expansions. Diablo's always been like a yay Diablo. But, you know, I like that RTS RPG kind of feel. Yeah, it was okay. I know a lot of people got into Path of Exile like a ton, but that was one of those games because of the way that their skill tree worked that you had to feel like an expert in order to succeed, and I couldn't stand that. I don't want to devote that much time and energy into a title. Like, I feel like I have to marry it. You play that and that's it. That's all you play. I've got other things. Like, I've got a backlog a mile long. There's less comic book characters than I have video games to play. Dauntless. That was like a third-person action RPG, if I remember. I mean, this is technically a third-person action RPG, but it had like like abilities, and I can't remember what the main bad guy was. Yeah, I remember it being like monsters, but they were like fiery or something. I don't remember. You guys always have the most interesting taste together in video games. It's always entertaining. I wouldn't call myself traditional, but I'm definitely more of like a classical gamer. Just, you know, the mainstays. No, I guess not the mainstays, because I don't really enjoy COD or anything like that, or Overwatch, or, you know, all the major stuff. I mean, of course I liked Apex, but that was the only FPS game that I really enjoyed in a long time. Maybe a little bit of Halo, but... Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, I played TF2 for years when it launched. And that's what I was kind of getting about, you know, earlier, that it's just an older title. Went back in, like, 2007? 6, 7? Somewhere around there. I played it for probably until, like, 2010. And I was sick of it. I respect it. I've gone back and I played a little bit with, I think, you guys. Rather you and Medic, or just you, or just Medic. I tried it and I was like, ugh, I just feel like I'm tired just trying to play the game, you know, because I've played it so long that I feel like I'm playing and I'm just like, ugh, well, I gotta go take a nap. I'm already done. And it's not like it's the mode's fault or the game's fault or anything. It's just the amount of time that I've invested into the game. They do have really cool kind of like sandbox style design. You know, I know Roblox does the same thing. Minecraft does a little bit of the same thing. A lot of these game companies have done the same thing. Have you played the Battle Bits or Bit Battle or whatever, the Battlefield clone? It's a like 8-bit style block Minecraft. Yeah, I've seen you. BattleBit Remastered, yeah. I was thinking about getting into that because if Smurf likes a game, it's probably good. And if he likes a game that's similar to Battlefield, it's probably a lot of fun. He and I used to play Battlefield like crazy. I mean, just a stupid amount of Battlefield. And I've always loved the Battlefield title. One of my, core traditional games. Always loved Battlefield. I played the heck out of that. And so I thought about getting it, but it's a cost, right? It's not free to play. What is it, like 20, 30 bucks? They released it fully a few days ago. You're gonna check? All right, cool. I appreciate it. I thought maybe you might know off the top of your head, but I didn't want to make you, go look, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I thought about playing that. 16 bucks. That's not bad. I'm obviously, with not having a job right now, I'm trying to cut costs as much as humanly possible. It's probably, I would say it's probably 15 or 20 here in the States. I know that you're, where you are, it changes some of the costs and availability. Medic's usually pretty on point with what US cost is, but yours is always slightly more, if I recall. And I think it had something to do with rights usage or something. I don't know how the EU does things. I'm not there. I know enough about it, but I'm not there actively, so it's hard to always tell. You're still roughly in the same area, right? I would presume. I think that that's smart in some ways, and there's a whole economical value to that, like a whole conversation that's years long. It can be beneficial. I think what the Euro system was trying to do was good. I think it created some detriment because of COVID, because of economic collapse, that devalued a lot of other countries. And so I think currently it's smarter for systems, for governments to have their own currency. Currently. If everyone were doing all right, yeah, having a national standard or I guess a continental standard would be smart. But like I said, deep conversation there. Always happy to have it. Always happy to talk about anything immensely deep. I encourage debate. You probably also know that, though, at this time. Anything that's an in-depth conversation is like, please, let's talk. And sometimes I'll be like, honestly, I just don't know. I don't know what you're saying at this point. You're beyond me. That's cool, though. I'm learning. Oh man, my allergies today are just awful. But yeah, I don't know. I might end up playing the BattleBit Remastered. Maybe if I can get a couple extra bucks lying around, then that'll be the smart way to go. Because he wants to play that. I've been stuck on this. Maggie, my fiance, she has been also playing with me, so it's another major incentive as to why I would want to play. I'm playing with my girl, and she loves it. She's having a lot of fun. We're both having a lot of fun together. Anytime I can get the opportunity to play a game with my partner, that's a win. I'll just take it. I'm gonna bleed that one dry. I told her too, once we're done, if she decides she wants to go back and play Diablo 3, I would be happy to. If she doesn't want to, that's fine. But it plays the exact same way, of course. The literal exact same way. This game in particular, I should say. 2 plays a little differently, but 3 and 4, more or less the same. Yeah, I'm not even shocked. 2042 was garbage. I would be surprised if BattleBit doesn't turn into a higher audience base, because 30,000 is low for a game in general. That's really low. 50 to like 60. Yeah, absolutely. 50 to like 60, maybe 100,000 is kind of like you're doing all right. You're doing all right, but 30K is pretty low. I think it's mostly just because of exposure and time. You know, no one's really talking about it that much, but it's a great game. From the content that I have seen thus far, it looks great. I don't know any major creators that are playing it. I haven't seen anyone, you know, like posting a video that I'm like, oh, hey, I know that name. I think everyone's just on the Diablo kick right now, which I don't blame them. It's a big game. A lot of people are talking about it. It's one of the most successful Diablos to date, if not the most successful Diablo to date. I think it is. But I also think, like I was saying, the story's pretty involved. It's a lot more... Like Diablo 3, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm just playing because I like Diablo. But Diablo 4, I have questions. You know, like I want to know what the hell is going to happen because they haven't covered it. They haven't talked about it. And I want to know how and why it happened. And so that's kind of where my headspace is. I'm interested, is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I'm interested in the game, I'm interested in the story, and I want to know more about it, which is rare for a game these days for me. Most of the games don't have that effect on me. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever, skip on every conversation. And it just, you know, I almost always end up feeling like ridiculously bored. But every once in a while I'll play a game and I'm like, yay, I care about everything every player, every NPC says. My first run through, I was trying to do like the hardcore grind, go to level 100 as fast as humanly possible. I mean, obviously right now I'm playing hardcore, but trying to go as fast as humanly possible. And I lost a couple barbs. Then I played a Necro. I lost the Necro really quickly because I didn't know what I was doing, and that was a terrible mistake. My first barb that I lost, also same thing. It's just a really bad play. But then I've lost all my characters recently just to shit I can't protect against, like internet crashing, the servers on Diablo going down, just one thing after another. And I haven't been able to stay alive. So I'm hoping this time I'll be able to stay alive. Because I don't think it's my play. It could be. Maybe I'm just really bad at the game. I don't know. But, yeah, it could be like, maybe if I were to be more survivable, then I would have survived a server crash or something. I don't know. I don't know. Watch Dogs 2. So I liked Watch Dogs 1. I think I bought the collector's edition for Watch Dogs 1. I'm pretty sure I did, because I think I have like the mask and it's got the, you know, like the symbol, the Watch Dogs symbol on the mask. I think that's around somewhere. I have no idea. But I enjoyed Watch Dogs 1 and the concept of Watch Dogs 1. Unfortunately, when the game originally came out and what they were talking about with Watch Dogs 1 was like you'd be able to hack anything and everything. To get info, to watch cameras, to like see where enemies were, you know, everything. Everything was going to be touchable. And they never did that. They never followed through. So I was disappointed in the title. I was disappointed in Watch Dogs. But it did come out to be a halfway decent game. I still played it, but I think I ended up like kind of skipping past some stuff simply because they let me down. You know, from a gaming perspective, enjoying what they were going to try and do, and then getting into the title and then realizing half the stuff that was even in trailers from months, ages ago, got scrapped. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hack sewage pipes, great, but that's just a mechanic that they thought about or decided. I mean, like, everything. It was, you could, like, hack the road. Obviously, the traffic signals, cameras. You could hack into every single person's cell phone that was on the street. It was, like, they did everything in the original launch videos. It was wild. And the reason I found that so interesting is because it created the mental psyche of awareness within the people who are playing it to understand that everything that you have is connected, right? In some way, shape, or form, like, it has a connection. And with that in mind, like, it's a big threat. Like, there is a really, really big threat here, but it could be used for a good reason under the right pretenses. And so you've got, like, a character like Watch Dogs, you know, that comes in, the main character or whatever, and Aiden, or I don't remember what his name was, comes in and, you know, does something fantastic and takes down the, you know, the patriarchy and terroristic, like, capitalism. It was cool, you know, to see that play into an effect. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it was a good title. I had fun with Watch Dogs. I think I have Watch Dogs 2. I think I bought the game. It's still probably in the Mylar, you know, like the plastic that comes with it or whatever. But I've got to go back and play it. It's another one of those titles, you know, you got to finish. So, yeah. I like that too. That each of the characters kind of, like, had their own thing. It's really funny with Sniper Elite. So recently I've been playing Sniper Elite. I posted some, like, one little quick video on it. I really liked it. Anyways, I want to make more content for Sniper Elite because I like that series. I like Rebellion Entertainment, or Rebellion Games. I don't know what their official title is. Sorry. I like their game company, and I want to make more content for them. But every time that you would scan someone, they all have their own unique story. Every single NPC, you know, Nazi in that thing has their own, their own background. Like, oh, hey, this person was in the church choir until they got conscripted, and, you know, their mom's homesick or something like that, so they don't have anything better to do than to, you know, work for the Nazis. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm going to shoot you in the head. But yeah, it's really cool to see that. It's really cool for them to take the time to do that. I also love games who do flavor text. So games who will write, like, some ridiculously long description like that for a character, but then inside the description, they'll have, like, a little bit of verbiage that talks about, you know, how they really, really like cats, and, like, here's a picture of their cat, you know, just, like, weird things that you would never, ever see. That makes the game really, really interesting as well. I really like flavor text and hidden little Easter eggs of texts like that, because it takes time. It takes time to create a story that revolves around that character to give that experience. So I appreciate it when game companies do that, because a lot of them don't. Oh, bone wall, of course. All right, so basically, concept here is I'm trying to do 3-second stacks to get a corpse. When the corpse drops, I can cast my corpse explosion for the miasma effect. Once I get miasma, I miasma spam, or corpse spam, you know. And basically then I can just thrust through sever, because the more corpses that I have, the more I can cast. Obviously, the more I can cast, the more I can cast sever, and sever is kind of the long and short of this particular build. And I just want to talk a little bit about it while I'm doing the boss fight. As you can see, I'm taking down the boss relatively easily, obviously the same level, tier 2. Oh, hey, cool. I got a Dagger. Basic gain. All right, well, that might be a little bit more beneficial. If I can upgrade it, it's only a 389, but the basic skill could be powerful. Plus, the damage that I get to, or that I would get from intelligence and all stats, might be more beneficial. Oh, but summoning minions for attack speed, it'd probably be a trade-off. So another big thing about this is that I want to have as many minions as possible. The more minions I have, the more damage I do with the way the build's set up. And so it's highly beneficial for me to focus on the 2 skills that allow me to add more skeletal mages and more skeletal warriors for a total increase of 4 NPC, or sorry, 4 minions, and that comes out to 12% damage increase for all my skills anytime I've got those minions out, which is pretty substantial. Pretty substantial. So needless to say, I'm focusing on doing anything that allows me to get more minions or have more minions as often as possible. When I hit Paragon, I'm probably going to try and rush straight to Cult of the Damned. Yeah, no problem, no problem. And I can show you what I'm talking about. But that's the other really cool thing I like about this. Yes, yeah, a summoning build is specifically like I'm a summoning necromancer. There's the bone necromancer, blood necromancer, and I guess you could say darkness is the other one because they run Shadow Blight. You could call it a Shadow Blight necromancer. So basically, the way that the system's set in place is that there's like 4 ways to build your character, right? In a lot of these characters. But Blizzard doesn't give a shit about most of the other ones. They usually only have one meta, and if you're not playing that meta, get wrecked. I don't agree with that. I'm going to continue to play my summoning necromancer because I care and I love my summoning necromancer. And if Blizzard doesn't want to support that, I don't give a shit. It's not my business. I mean, it is my business, obviously, because I'm playing the game, but I'm going to keep on doing what I do because I love it. So Decompose, just to break down the skills, Decompose is like my basic skill. That's why I chose it, is for slow effects. It also sheds a corpse every 3-second rotation that I have it cast on an object, cast on an enemy. So every corpse that's shed, anytime I use a corpse for summoning a creature, for exploding, for whatever, I get a buff. So I get a 9% damage increase. Well, sorry, now I do. A 9% damage increase for every single time that I use a corpse. So I get a pretty big buff from that. And then I also get a buff from the amount of minions that are attached. Shit, where is it? Think, Hammy. Oh yeah, right. Sever. The more minions that I have, I deal a 2% damage increase. So I apologize. It wasn't 3% per piece. It was 2% per piece. So the added 4 would have given me an 8% increase. But still, 8% increase to a skill that's big. I would probably go out of my way for 5%. 3% would be like, this is a trade. But yeah, I would do a lot for 5%. Like, find a way to build for 5%. But either way, the whole idea is centered around me having as many minions as humanly possible, and then doing a corpse explosion to get the miasma, so the AoE effect. So when I drop down a corpse, instead of it exploding out and just doing damage like a grenade, it creates a miasma, like a storm, at the feet of, wherever the corpse would have been. So a lot of times if I can get them clustered together, I can do a mass amount of damage to a wide group as such. So I'll cast my golem to taunt. I get a corpse to form. I pop my miasma, so I've got an AoE damage. I stand in it. The reason I stand in it is to help me fight against stealth creatures. But it also attracts all the enemies to come to me. If I can get all the enemies, obviously, in the AoE, I'm going to kill them faster. So I use it as kind of like my base of operations, right? So create a corpse on an object, explode the corpse, stand in the corpse, and then use that corpse to generate more corpses. Every time I generate a corpse, I increase my fortitude of life. Every time I generate a corpse, I get more essence for which to cast. And every time I use a corpse, I get a damage increase to my primary skill. So the idea is that create more corpses, do lots more damage. Just feed into each other. And the beautiful thing is that if I use it at corpse to explosion and I'm using that AoE, it's probably going to kill a lot of people within that area. And then I'm just going to mass spam corpse explosion because the damage from corpse explosion stacks. So the more miasmas that I have running at a time, the more damage I'm doing to a rough area. So I can create like a blanket of damage in a given area. the more that I do. It's taken me a little bit to kind of come up with this, and I've done it all solo. There's not been a lot of people who've been supportive of the summoning build. Most people are on Bone Spear or Bone Spirit. See, there was actually exactly one of the reasons why that works for me. So the guy that just appeared behind me, he was stealthed, and if they come up behind you, it's like a rogue, right? Like they can backstab. But anytime that they walk into like incremental or area damage, they automatically get exposed. And so he can't backstab me anymore. So there's little instances where sometimes you can get one shot from a rogue. Sometimes you can get half health from a rogue. And then all of a sudden you've got an elite who drops an explosion and then I'm dead. If I die, I am dead. It's a hardcore character. It's gone forever. So I can't afford that. So I'm trying to create things that increase my survivability, which is another reason I really, really like this build, is because it's very survivable. The downside is that it's not always as much damage as everyone else might have. Bone Spear was a lot more powerful at the beginning of the launch, and then they realized that like some of the aspects or imprinting aspects of the sacred artifacts or sacred legendaries that were out were benefiting Bone Spear too much, and the damage was like multiplicatively stacking, and then you'd have like every single time it pierces through a person, like it does more damage. And so if you did like a really, really good line with a corpse tendril, then Bone Spear would go through 9 or 10 people, and by the time it got out the other side, you'd be doing like 300,000 damage in one hit, and you could literally one-shot bosses. I agree, that needed nerfed. A lot of people aren't happy about it because now all of a sudden they have to try and play a game, of course, but I think that it was the smart choice. I like my summoning build. I've been honing it for a little while, and so you can see my double stacked miasmas, and I can literally just spam these, right? Like, it's a never-ending cycle. So now I have 6 some odd miasmas all doing area of effect damage for like 200% damage or 140 or whatever the hell, because of all the buffs that I received. So it gets really powerful really quickly the more death that you create. The downside is on solo bosses as well, which Bone Spear and Bone Spirit don't do well. Bone Spirit needs distance. Bone Spear needs objects to penetrate through, multiple enemies to penetrate through. So both of them are built off of like multiple enemies. Sorcerers, barbarians, rogues work better off a single target. It's another reason why... oh, it's whatever. I understood what you meant. It's another reason why a lot of people aren't messing with summoner necros or necros in general, because they're really hard to level. They take longer to level. They don't have a whole lot of survivability in solo situations, in solo boss situations. But I'm enjoying it way more, and I'm enjoying the game way more playing as a necromancer. This has a playstyle that I feel that I like. I enjoyed playing the barbarian, but I wanted to play a bleed barbarian. So basically the idea is that, you know, you bleed your target out. And the reason I liked bleed is because it was a lot percentage based. So it doesn't matter what level the enemy is, it's always going to take a % of their HP. It's not damage. It's not hard numbers. There's no shit like that. It's like, it's a lot of it's heavy percentage scaling. And some of Diablo does that no matter what, but I liked bleed. The problem is that bleed's not a very sustainable build long term. Like, everyone should be running whirlwind and shouts and this particular thing. I don't give a shit about that, man. Like, I want to play my barbarian the way that I want to play, but Blizzard doesn't care. So you don't play the meta, they don't care about you.
Good of you to come. Pity you didn't bring it out.
Which is typical for a Blizzard game. It's very typical. WoW was the same way. Overwatch is the same way. Everything they've ever produced is like, well, what do you mean our character sucks? You're just not playing him right. Okay, you play them. You know what you're doing, right? You play him. Oh, wow, this is really bad. Well, guess we'll have to put that on the back burner of things to fix. It's like 7 years later. Hey, we fixed that thing. Yeah, no one even cares anymore. Oh, yeah, sorry, I should be skipping these. Just to, you know, make sure that no one sees anything. Forgot about that. Got so lost into my little thought there. Yeah. But all in all, you know, I like Diablo. Like I said, I'm having fun with it. I keep on coming back to it no matter the amount of times that I've died thus far. Part of it because I'm, you know, really like the challenge, but part of it is because I enjoyed the game. If I died on some other games and I lost my character permanently, I'd probably just give up and say, yeah, I don't care anymore. But it's fun. And I'm enjoying it. And really, that's all I can ask for in games these days, because plenty of games I've played, I'm like, man, this sucks. And I feel like I have to play it just to finish it, I don't know if you get that way about games, but I'll get that way where I'll play something and I'll start it, and I'm invested just enough to where I feel like I'm accomplishing something or doing whatever, and then I realize that, like, I'm really bored with the plot. I don't have any investment in the characters. I'm not immersed at all. I'm just playing it to play it, like, just to go through the motions. I get that a lot about games. I went back to playing Monster Train. I'm really enjoying playing Monster Train still. Ring of Pain, I've invested a lot of time into Ring of Pain. I need to finish a couple things with Ring of Pain to, like, complete that, quote unquote. But I'll get there. Love Ring of Pain. Anything, and then they're gonna make another game, which I'm actually really excited about. Simon had come out and said that they're working on another title, and I'm hoping that I can, like, reach out to Simon. Simon's their, like, lead designer, program dev. I'm hoping I can reach out to Simon once they start to, you know, get some content for it, and ask what I can do to help promote it, or, you know, anything related to it, and maybe get lucky there. But, you know, I tweeted Ring of Pain a handful of times. I made some content for Ring of Pain, and maybe I get lucky. But I really love their games. A lot of their games have been, I think they've made like 3. A lot of them have been good, and I've enjoyed myself. So, whatever I can do to support. I don't even remember this quest. It would. It would. I actually, you have a VR, right? I think you have a VR. I actually played a game called A Night in the Attic, and Night is like, you know, Night of the Round Table. A Night in the Attic, or Night of the Attic? Night in the Attic? I think it's A Night in the Attic. They have a VR title, and it's kind of like a puzzle game, a little bit. A lot of fun. Played that recently and really enjoyed that game. It wasn't like, oh my god, you have to play this, but for a VR title, they handled their physics pretty well. Not really a whole lot of, like, glitches or issues related to movement or placement or anything. Nice. But it's a good, clean game. I haven't made content on it yet. I need to, but I thought about just doing, like, a 60-second review like I used to. Like, hey, here's the game. It's just a quick nutshell. Like, this is what's so great about it. Love it. You know, kind of go that route. Because I feel like that's where consumable media is really kind of headed. Is just, like, quick concept reviews. Man, I keep on looking at these views on YouTube where they're horrible. It's like 30 seconds into a review, which is 10 minutes, and I'm already done. The way that the person interacts and they talk, there's just so much fluff nonsense that it doesn't matter. Like, I'm here to talk about the game, not about anything else. Which I'm sure probably people think about what I'm doing right now with Diablo 4. I'm here to learn about how to build my Necromancer, and I'm sitting here talking to you because, you know, I care more about you. But yeah, a lot of sugarcoating. I guess there's a little bit of a delineation between those two because I'm talking to a person live on an interaction. But yeah, I probably need to do, like, a breakdown video of my skill set for this character so that people have, like, an understanding of exactly what it is. But I feel like, I love you too. I feel like a lot of people just don't get right into the meat of it. I don't know. Like, I feel like if I made a Diablo Necromancer build video, I'd be like, all right, so here's what we're going to talk about. The Diablo Necromancer, solely for the basis of hardcore, using a summoning build. This is what my skills are, and this is why I chose them. That's it. It should be like 4 minutes probably at most. You don't... I don't know how... I know why they do it. I know people turn videos into 10-minute videos and 20-minute videos because they want the viewer retention, and the more retention they get, the more they get their videos shown to other people, and the longer the videos, the more people stay retained, the more likely they are to get their videos shown to other people. Like, I get the marketing aspect of it. I think it's bullshit. I don't know why YouTube does that. It creates worse experiences because then people just think, well, I just have to find a way to add 4 minutes to my video that people will be interested in. Yeah, I'm gonna click away. Like, I came to watch something to find out how to do it, like for information, not for entertainment, which I get it. Like, YouTube's a entertainment social platform. That's why people are here, but most of YouTube, I feel like, more informative than anything. It's just gamers don't get that. I don't know. I feel like if I want to be entertained, I'll go to a live view. It's my thought. Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Maybe a whole build, maybe, right? You know, maybe like here are particular instances, like here is a 30-second example of a boss fight that I did on why my build is good. Like, most people have issues with this. And then we're going to talk about the skills that got me there and why they're benefiting that particular boss and how you can use it to the advantage of all the other bosses in the game. You know, maybe. I still feel like you could probably cover that in 4 or 5 minutes. It'd be condensed, right? It wouldn't be fluffed out at all, like at all, but I think it's possible. I think just people choose to not be as interested in that content. Most people. Most people. What I really wish they would do over here is get better, like, bot support. You know, using third-party applications and stuff like that. If they could pull that off, like, their world would be so easy. Yeah. I mean, I guess the bigger question would be, like, what do I... And I'm not asking you because I'm expecting you to have the answer, but, like, what would people... Would a person even need to be on the video? Like, I would even think that, like, you wouldn't even need, like, I wouldn't even need to be in the video, even green screen or anything. Like, why? You're just looking at the skills, you're just looking at the gameplay. Like, you're just talking about the game. Why would you need to be in the video at all? Except for an intro. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. And then you show the skills and you show the breakdown of why and conclude the video and it's done. I don't know. Like you said, only vital info. I don't know. I'm not a normal person. I know I'm not a normal person. I guess you're not a normal person either. Sorry. We know we're both not normal, because what is normal? But in the sense of the average user who gets onto YouTube to watch a video, we don't fall within those blanket statements, those stereotypes. Yeah, yeah. No, I thought it would be safe, but there's corpses everywhere. They're all shambling. Why are they shambling? Why don't they just walk normally? Because they're corpses. Oh, right, corpses. So, you can probably see my fortify down there. There's like the health globe. And as I'm creating corpses, every single time that I create corpses, I was kind of talking about this earlier as well, you'll watch it go up, like the little area. But the blue means it's a barrier, so I have like a shield. And that's like a chance on effect. But every single time I create a corpse, then I get more fortify. And the more fortify that I have, the more likely I am to survive. So I want to generate more corpses because it also gives me like a second health bar. Yeah, blue over there on the far right is like my essence, which is like my mana. but there's like a bluish tint or a hue that pops around my health globe. That's a barrier. So like this, that's a barrier, a shield. And you can see around my actual character, there's like a white, glowing, sandy-ish shield. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Alright, so I'm full fortified right now. I'm going to take a health potion. I'm going to pop in and do a little miasma farming. Do a little dodgy. What? Alright, I'm just gonna get my golem to taunt him. And then I've got to get my minions back because I haven't been paying attention. I've been talking to you. Which is really dangerous in hardcore, but... I was talking to Antoine about that. He's like, oh, come on, stream it, stream it. I was like, man, I've died so many times now. It probably is worth streaming because I'm probably just gonna die again. But before, when I was level 71 or whatever, I didn't want to do it. And it is highly evident. I was watching a video where a guy's playing the other day, and he took a clip from his game, right? You know, like from his stream. And he's like, oh yeah, look how easy this is. In the time that it took for him to turn, he went from full health to half. And the time that it took him to turn back to the monitor, he was dead. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. I mean, I wouldn't be cocky like that. Yeah, one life games or like Iron Man modes or stuff like that. You don't screw around with that stuff, man. If you don't take it seriously, like, this stuff like that will happen. But yeah. I've seen a lot of advertisements, and I think it's on Game Pass. So I think I can download it for free because I have Game Pass. You know, I pay for Game Pass, so it's not technically free, but it is included within the membership, which I already pay for because I want Xbox Ultimate so that I can play with my fiance and get free games per month. And I have Game Pass Ultimate until like August of 2024 or something. Every single year I buy cards that are on sale, you know, during Christmas. This last year they didn't have any cards on Christmas sale, unfortunately. But I used all my points, which I had like 120,000 some odd points to buy 6 months. And then I have it on like recurring membership. So every single month is only 10 grand and I have 120 some odd thousand points in there. So that's basically another 12 months. So it comes out to like September or whatever, because I think it was like 3 months ago that I did that. I don't know.
Lucky fool, I'll give you that.
I've got a long time. It's got, you know, if the world collapses is basically when I run out of Game Pass. And it's already paid for, so. Anyways, Amnesia the Bunker. So I haven't played any of the previous Amnesia games. Would I have to play the previous Amnesia games to feel like I understand what the hell's going on in Amnesia the Bunker? I also know that there's another, not Condemned. What was that video camera game with the horror and the crazy psychopath butcher and the mental hospital? Completely different story. Okay, so it's not necessary for me to play. Well, I might play it then. I felt Outlast, thank you. I feel like, you know, games like that where it makes me think that I have to have played the previous games because it's the 5th one in the series. I don't want to play it then because I feel like I'm behind. And then that just gets added to my queue of, hey, I need to go back and play the 9 other games that were here. I'm just adding to the number every single time I talk about it. It's like Final Fantasy. I need to go play the 16 Final Fantasies that have occurred previous. It's more like 25 at this point. 25 Final Fantasies previous in order to enjoy Final Fantasy 16. I don't know. Just funny. Obviously that's not the case with the current Outlast. Or Amnesia, I apologize. It might be the case with the current Outlast, but I doubt it. Outlast 1 to Outlast 2, there was not really any connection. Just that it was in the same universe. That was it. Did you see they're making another Alan Wake? Alan Wake was great. I mean, that kind of, you should play through all of them. I don't know if you'll need to for the current one, because it looks like it's following like a police character, and then the other person's just kind of involved, like it's in his world or something. I don't know. But I think there was so long of a gap between Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 3 that the worlds, they don't want to tie them together. Never heard of it? Okay, well, first off, you should go play it. It's a third person, I wouldn't call it Resident Evil. Maybe a psycho thriller game. Bit of a shooting element to it. A lot of like, hey, you wander around and kind of figure out puzzles. Not quite Resident Evil, but horror-ish, you know. It's a good game. Very, very well written. It's by Remedy Games, so the same people who made Max Payne, same people who made Control. I don't know if you've heard of Control or played Control, but that was another really, really good game. Control, I've got to finish that. But great series. Alan Wake 1 and 2, I don't know what they cost on Steam. I know they're on Steam. You probably have controller support or just mouse and keyboard. It's really whatever you want. But they were on console as well. Alan Wake 1 and 2 were phenomenal titles. I would highly recommend playing. I think I have to finish those as well. There's a lot of games I like started, got halfway through, and then another game came out, especially in that era, because Alan Wake 1 and 2 was, oh my god, it was like the luxury era. Oh yeah. That's on my wish list. Into the Radius. I definitely wanted to play that. My largest problem with VR right now is that I have to play sitting because I don't have the headspace, the clearance when I'm standing. I have really low ceilings, like really low. Like I can reach my hand up and push against it. Ceilings. It's bad. So if I'm like lifting for an object, I forget that I'm in VR and I like scrape. I'll have to look into it then. If it's got a seated mode, I'll have to look into it. But I have to play everything seated. So there's a lot of those like shooter games that they don't work for me because they require you to be able to like crouch and do other stuff and look at objects and pick things up. It's stupid. Like I can't play them. But ideally, I get back into, you know, work and I get back into a position where I might be able to move somewhere or build a house or do something. Yeah, great. I'll make sure that I've got space. I actually want to create like a stream/gaming room where it has like 15-foot ceilings or 20-foot ceilings or something like that. So that way I can put up like scaffolding and lasers and lights and all sorts of stuff. Ideally. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Forgot. Not supposed to talk or do anything. I'm supposed to just skip past everything. But yeah, lots of games in the VR space that are a lot of fun. Got tons to explore there and go back and finish, or even start, because you know I just never got to them because you start 3 minutes in and realize that you've got to play the game a different way, and then I'm like, well, I guess I won't play this VR title. Even working out, like, man, I could play Beat Saber and lose some weight, and I can't even do that. I guess I could try and do it like outside or something. Yeah, I'm not shocked. You know, when the adult community realized that they could use it to interact and engage with, you know, other members of other couples or whatever, which that's fine. It's all pro. As long as it's consensual and for actual adults, I don't care. It's not my business. Whatever they want to use it for, go nuts. They should find a way to like separate the content some. Find ways to make that not really as obtainable, because anyone can put on a headset, anyone can download the game, and anyone can go play it. How many people fake their age on Steam? Let's be real. Now all of a sudden, like, there's an interaction with a minor. They don't know that it's a minor because, you know, obviously they filled out a form or clicked a button that said that they're of age, and now all of a sudden they're not. You know, it's not the person's fault, but you can have a lot of bad things happening, obviously. So I really hope that they find a way to create better environments for more restrictive content within the VR space. Three, 2, 3, 3. Okay, get some of my minions back. And then I'm going to be focusing on corpse shedding again, so that way I can resupply my minions, because I gain more essence the more my skeletal mages are attacking, my cold mages. So I'm trying to farm corpse sheds by keeping my basic ability on the boss as long as humanly possible. Again, just farming, because I know I'm about to lose some to these blasts that he keeps on casting. Sorry, that the boss keeps on casting. I'm gonna cast the Sever, because I just spawned in a couple of my corpses. Buff my corpses so that way they get some of their health back and increase their damage value. Man. And my minions aren't spreading out at all. They're just all in this cast zone. The cast zone, blast zone. Alright, I'm just gonna Zerg the boss. I only had one corpse left. Great. But yeah, it gets, you know, it gets crazy thinking about, you know, all the people that you might interact with on VR chat. I thought about doing that, but, you know, you never know. Yeah, it could have gone bad.
He must be planning to summon Andariel somewhere else. But he did.
Sometimes the minions get stuck like that, where they only want to be, like, targeting a boss from a specific range, and I can't, even in PC, you can't, like, I'm playing on console. Even in PC, you can't control where your minions are. You can, like, walk away from a boss and then kind of come back. And sometimes they'll rearrange themselves a little bit, but for the most part, they end up stacking like that, and you can just have some really bad interactions with bosses that way. And sometimes it's just not even your fault. It's just the way that the game wanted to do stuff. They have a really bad map system right now. Like, I've got a picture where it has me walk around in a circle. I'm not even kidding. Just walk around in a circle in order to come right back to where I am. It's, their map system's awful. But it's funny. But yeah, tons to get into in the VR space. I definitely want to use that to work out, but like I said, I don't have the room. I gotta find a way to make that happen, or like I said, maybe I could go outside. I just don't want to drag, like, my computer outside, because that's risky as all hell. I don't have, like, a covered environment. I guess if I cleaned out space in my garage or something, I might be able to make that work. But talk about the dust and the environment that my computer is going to be in inside of a garage just to work out. I'm not going to want to lug that back and forth. What the hell am I going to do to make that work? I don't know. Probably end up with, like, a mouse in there somehow. You know, chew through the fan covers so that it can try and make a mouse den, like, on top of my CPU because it's warm. Ugh. So many problems that could happen. I need some water. Not shocked. I am not. Ooh, I need a port. I'm gonna use this just to take a quick bathroom break real fast. I'll be back in a second. All right. Yeah, man, you know, this is the same BRB screen that I've had for ages. It's great because it's Adobe After Dark from back in the 80s. And it's considered abandonware. You know, no one has rights to it. No one owns it. No one bought, you know, renewed rights to it. So, like, anyone can use it at any given moment. I love that. I love it. Oh yeah, that was that one. I'm just gonna salvage that. It's a 22. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in my inventory slots in my stash. So in case I do die, I've got a weapon when I come back at like level 20. A decent dagger. Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Like it's fun because, you know, you probably really wouldn't see something like that often, that type of thing. I really enjoy it. Something that gives me a laugh. It reminds me of my childhood. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't have to worry about rights usage. It's just open and free. No problems. Let me touch that. Let me hit that. There we go. All right, where do I have to go? Up here. Cool. Okay. Something else I probably ought to do is level some through Skosglen. So one of the things that I was trying to work on, which I'll probably finish Act 3, and then go do dungeon farming. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do some dungeon farming now. I think I'm like halfway through this quest part though, so I might as well finish this one. And then I can go back and do some dungeon farming in Skosglen. But there's like area bonuses. So every single time that you finish an area's dungeon or finish a stronghold, finish this mission, find these items, you know, whatever, you get like a quest completion, and after you hit so much, you get renown, and the more renown that you have, the more features you unlock, like added skill points or added potion slots, and so that way, you know, you carry more potions on your person. But there's one for Paragon points, which is a feature that you get when you hit level 50, and as you put points into like a new skill tree, you do that when you hit level 50 instead of have additional skills. And so they enhance your abilities, like give you more intellect or give you more charisma. Well, sorry, not charisma, just D&D. More strength or, you know, whatever. It's like a skill point per se, but more direct, like attribute bonuses. So it's they get 4 for finishing an entire area. So you can see here, skill point, potion capacity, skill point, max obols, which is like a currency, and Paragon points. And you get 4 for each area that you finish upon hitting level 50. So if I finished all 5 areas, then the moment that I hit level 50, I'd have 20 Paragon points, which would be really powerful, because I basically finished the whole first board, because there's like boards, and then you attach boards onto other boards, so you have to think about which board that you would want based off of which skills you're trying to, you know, put points into. Whole concept. They don't have a calculator either. I think that's weird, like that their own branding, like the own company who creates the game, doesn't have a calculator online, because that would drive organic traffic to your website and increase the likelihood that your website would be viewed with authority. Not that Blizzard Activision isn't already viewed with authority, being the company that holds rights to Diablo and WoW and Call of Duty and everything else that's major out there. But it would drive more people to your website, and the more people that find your game content, game ideas, whatever, like if all the people who are looking for that anyways only go to your website, then all the smaller websites aren't going to steal your traffic. They're not going to get your ad revenue. They're not going to get everything else that you could be making instead. Like, I don't know why these major companies don't do this stuff. It takes nothing to make a calculator, a board calculator, a Paragon calculator, a skill calculator, you know, whatever. Just do it. Call it a day. Oh.
Diablo.
Something you did not know, because it happened more recently. They found out I have kidney stones. I don't know if they've passed yet, but I have 2 kidney stones, one on my left side and one on my right side, that are happening at the same time. So that's fun. So I deal with some pain occasionally. Good times. They said that I'll probably end up creating more, and I can't find out what's causing them without passing one, so that I can have it like destroyed and figure out what materials are in it, you know, what chemicals and things or all that are in it, so that they can say you should stay away from these foods because that's what's creating your kidney stones, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm working on. Man, everything's dying so fast. I love it. I love it. I don't know why I wasn't using this build previously. My build was close. I wasn't using Sever. I was using Blight, which was like an AoE explosion. And I think I was stacking AoE on AoE, and it wasn't good for single boss. It was great for world mobs. Like, oh my god. I was just, you know, taking an AoE from Corpse Explosion to another AoE with Blight, and just watching everything melt in the world. But when I'm playing against the boss, I was like, oh my god, I'm struggling. Oh my god, what can I do? So I started running Sever, which is, you know, a specific skill, of course. And ever since then, I've been having a lot more luck with it. So I should have just gotten into that. But thank you for your comment about my health. I appreciate it. it'll, you know, pass. Both figuratively and literally. Again, I don't want to display too much of the story in case you decide you want to get into this. It's up to you, of course. I appreciate you listening to me rant about skills, having not played the game. Glad things are going pretty well for you, of course, as well. Have you been getting into, like, anything else, or are there any other games that you're kind of excited for? At least, you know, lately. We had a long-standing member of the community, and actually one of the mods, come back in while I was over on Twitch the other day, you know, when we were doing our charity drive, like the majority of our charity drive through May. And he's been trying to get me to go back into PUBG, which I like and don't like, because the people who play it are so freaking good at the game anymore, because they don't have, you know, the random people who don't care, like the people who just want to play. Very rarely do you see those people, which essentially would be people like me. Which is why I wish, in a way, that they had skill-based matchmaking. But he's been wanting me to get back into it, as well as Orko. The clip on my Insta? Which one was that? God, I rarely update Instagram anymore. I just don't do anything with it. I think my problem with Instagram is that every time I get on, it wants to show me, like, fitness workouts, models, and, like, Tarkov players. I'm like, I don't even search for Tarkov. I don't even look for it. Oh, the one from Apex? Or... God, what? Oh, on PUBG. Yeah, where, like, I'm cussing a dude out? Yeah. Man, I loved playing with a pistol in PUBG. And I don't know why. Most games, I'm better with a pistol than I am with rifles. I don't get it. I really don't understand the mentality. I used to be, what is it, like 4th in the world in Battlefield 2 with a pistol, and I didn't play pistol-only servers. Like, I just played. There were pistol-only servers where that's all you would do was farm kills with a pistol. But my KD ratio was, like, through the roof. It was wild. I was like, I would go to tournaments. There was a one locally that we did, and I played in a match on 2v9 with pistol only, and we memed on them. I'm like, there's 9 of you to capture a flag, and we're wrecking you. Come on. It was good times. It was a lot of fun. But going back to the Battlefield concepts, like I want to go back and play, you know, the Battlefield-ish games. So that BattleBit remastered it'd be a good choice. I'll just post some pics on 69 Nice. I'll just post some pics on OnlyFans and say this is just for BattleBit remastered. Here's my feet. Yeah, John Wick, exactly. Did you see John Wick 4? Have you gone to see that? Have you seen all the John Wicks, actually? Got my attention. No, not yet. Okay. I don't want to give it away. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I would love to chat about it when and if you go see John Wick. I'd love to have that conversation. My fiance actually ended up ruining it for someone. I feel so bad. But, you know, it had been out for like a month, and she was just kind of chatting. Like, you know, she picked up the DVD copy because, you know, the DVDs just came out. And, or, you know, 2 months, whatever. It had been out for a while. And just picked up the DVD copy to talk about, like, oh, yeah, we got to put this out, you know, blah, 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 blah. This is coming up. Like, we got to make sure that we get this all set up so that people can buy the copy, blah, 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 blah. And she mentioned something in a way while she was talking with her coworker, and he's like, dude, I haven't seen it yet. What are you talking about? And she said she felt so bad, but she's like, come on. Why would you, a fan of the movie, not go see the movie? I'm like, you gotta understand people, sweetie. Maybe they had something going on in their life. She's like, no, 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 no. No, absolutely. But I know this person because I work with them every day. They had nothing going on with their life. They're always talking about how they're bored and blah, 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 blah. And they want to go watch this or do that or blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, maybe there's a little bit more defense there, but come on, no spoilers. It was funny. It was just a funny interaction. But she goes on to say like, oh, well, technically speaking, like I didn't give away anything because it's like a split concept. Like some people think that this happened and some people think that that happened. And so we really don't know. No one actually knows. I'm like, well, good save, but yikes. I've got an ability point. What do I want to do? Oh yeah, I still need Golem. I need to increase the life of my Golem so that way I've got better sustainability on solo bossing right now. That's the smarter play. The first one and the second one. The third one's different. Okay, so the first one would be, and sorry if anyone else is out there, I don't want to like give away details, but the first one essentially be, you know, where the car, the dog, blah, blah, blah. The second one would end up being like the high table brother and sister. The third one's with Halle Berry and the dogs. And the fourth one is essentially about the high table again. Give or take. Again, trying not to give away a ton of detail. But yeah, it's the fourth one was. I like the fourth one better than the third one. The third one's probably my least favorite of them thus far. The second one was kind of like the Empire Strikes Back. I think it was the best one. It started to like reveal the plot and the meaning and the why behind John Wick, you know? The third one just felt like it was all over the place. The fourth one felt rushed. So originally the intention was that they were going to turn it into 2 movies. And you can tell it got condensed. You can tell it got condensed into 1 movie. Because there's some stuff that just feels like it's missing. Like, oh yeah, they were probably going to really kind of expand on this, and they just chose not to. But it was still a good movie. There we go, 32. Yeah, I don't want an iron golem though, they're garbage. Alright, so we've got another ability. I'm gonna put the last point into golem for the survivability of my golem. Get my miasma to stand in while I push forward. Yeah, okay. You can be a elite all you want, and I'm still gonna meme on your face. See, I love this. I'm getting like 1,000 point to 2,000 point crits, depending on, you know, damage and circumstances and luck rolls, etc. As a level 32. And I know that's not a ton. I know some of the other classes see higher damage at a lower level, but I'm not the other classes. I'm just a Necro. I don't have the best loot. Don't have the greatest situation. Is what it is. And I'm really, really happy with seeing those kind of numbers right now. I feel like I'm in a better position to succeed. I started running Glass Cannon on my Sorcerer, which is the character that I'm playing with my fiance. And that's on softcore, just tier 1. I just want to play with her and enjoy it, you know, not feel like rushed. And she wouldn't cope well if she lost a character. It's one thing to die, it's another thing to die and lose your character forever. Buff to get my HP back up on my minions. I really hate these maniac fights. They actually have one of the endgame dungeons, like the capstones. It's not endgame, but it's for a higher tier playing. One of the capstone dungeons is built around the maniacs and like the cannibals. They're rough. They need a bit of a nerf, in my opinion, because they're not squishy and they have higher damage. They need a bit of a nerf. Ghouls need a buff. They need to buff enemy ghouls. Because they're way too squishy and they do almost no damage. You can have like 100 of them around you and you just spit and they all die. Yeah, die, lose a character, die to a significant other. Yeah, exactly. Because she's so aggravated that she takes it out on you. Absolutely would happen. She's like, I don't know how you haven't like thrown your computer across the street or flipped out on someone. Like, how many characters have you lost? I don't know, 5? I lost 3 barbarians and 2 necros so far. It is what it is. 3 barbarians was, like I said, I wanted to play my way, and Blizzard doesn't want to support that. I want to be a Rend barbarian, and they don't give a shit. They're like, what do you mean your damage sucks? Well, why are you playing Rend? Play Whirlwind. Duh, that's why we made Whirlwind. That's 1 skill, though. Well, yeah, you only need 1. I don't want to be a Whirlwind barbarian. Well, why not? Okay. I can see where this conversation's heading. It's like all forums are. What do you mean you don't want to play meta? What do you mean you're interested and immersed in playing a character a different way? Crazy? Why wouldn't you want to just be good?
I'm not ready yet.
We're too late. The ritual is underway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about the new Dead Space, but I did Dead Space 1 and 2 that same way. 2 was relatively easy because they actually have a challenge for that on hard in less than 3 saves. But I did that run. Ooh. Nope. All right, here we go. Now I've got a good rhythm. My minions are surrounding the boss. Of course, that's immediately right when it charges. I'm gonna cast Blood Wave, kill out some of the trash, put some good distance between myself and the boss again. It'll probably rush here in a second. Yep, there's the rush. I'm gonna corpse explosion stack, try and get some damage in while I'm shedding corpses. Get my minions back up, get my essence farm going. Okay. All right, so I need to increase my damage value to AoE so that way I can worry about the ads that are showing up constantly. Get my minions back yet again. But the boss is staggered, so we're doing well. It gives me some time to really allocate some damage to him. Now I've almost got him. So I spent the better part of the first half of the fight focusing on essentially creating the corpses to shed, generating my minions constantly to make sure that they're still alive, creating more corpses off the ads that the boss was spawning, and then using that to just burn the boss down, which is the way that I end up spending most of them. And the good thing about this is that later in the game, as you're going through, most of the bosses really start to zerg you through like the second half of the fight. And so if I spend the first half of the fight playing it cool and building as much revenue or resources for the second half of the fight, then the second half of the fight becomes a lot easier. And when they start throwing in the added mechanics in the fight to say like, hey, well, now you're screwed, now you're screwed, now you're screwed, now you're screwed, it won't affect me. Because I've already spent the first half of the fight building the resources that I'll need to do that. So then it makes the boss fights relatively easy with the build that I've got. I can just burn, burn, burn. Burn, 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 burn the boss. There's another disco song I really could have kind of stuck with, but that's fine. It's okay. All right, so I think I'm actually going to do what I said I was going to do and go do some Skosglen dungeons to prepare myself for the later part of the game when I start focusing on renown. Because I'm at the end of like Act 3-ish. And there's kind of like an interesting part where they make you like potion sustain yourself. And so I'm hoping that I'll find a piece of equipment that allows me to get like an extra potion slot or two. Not that I'll probably need it, but it can be really dangerous because your health is constantly draining. And then it spawns in minions, adds, and elites along the way. So if you don't have enough potions to heal not only through the damage, but also the consistent damage over time, it can be rough. They kind of expect you to burn through them relatively quickly because they give you a way to refresh your potions, but it's not something that I want to risk or deal with on hardcore. So I'm going to go out and do some random ass dungeons in Skosglen to prepare myself for the Paragon points that I was talking about. Oh yeah, perfect. I'd be thrilled to play some Sea of Thieves. Every once in a while I hop on that game. But you know how that community is. It's like, ugh. It's just so toxic. So toxic. I mean, how many times have I been on that game just trying to mind my own business and some person goes out of their way to just destroy you like, for no reason. The other day I was playing and some guy followed our ship, destroyed it, and then managed to find us on the dock, like the exact dock where we were, like immediately turned around and started coming straight to us. I mean, he was within our new spawn within 5 minutes. So it was like he knew like where we were going to end up being. And then anyways, finds me on the dock. I'm standing there, not doing anything, not fighting, not doing anything, like just standing there watching him. He gets off his boat, comes up to me, gets on mic, and says, "Hi," and then blasts me with the shotgun, and then starts to jump up and down on my corpse. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm done for the day. Like, I don't want to play with people like this. I understand that it's partly the game, but I really wish they had an aspect to Sea of Thieves where, like, a channel of Sea of Thieves where you could just play like non-PvP. Like, you have to push a button to engage in combat or something, you know, that kind of a thing. That'd be so cool. It'd be so much fun. Like, I know they have devoted PvP channels, but no one wants to use them. They want to grief players, which I don't get. Yeah. But the problem is people don't use that. They want to grief players. They want to create problems for people because that's the way that they have fun, is causing pain and misery to random players, which is terrible because a lot of the marketing for that game is like aimed at younger audiences. So like, I don't mind. I'll get off and play a different game. I got tons to do. But some of those people, like, they only have Sea of Thieves. They only have this. They only have that. They only have a handful of games. They just have to deal with it. Ugh. Yeah. And that's just bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. They still make a great game, but it's just a bad way to create an environment that nurtures or develops the player base when your player base is destroying your player base. And the only way to combat that is to create PvP on demand and or create different elements to the game where PvP can be done or PvE can be done. And I just want to play PvE. That's all I care about. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times where I want to PvP, like I want to destroy other ships. But you could easily just create an environment like WoW does, where you have PvE only servers and PvP included servers. So you could go on, but there is a potential that you could be attacked. It's up to you. Or you play where you can only engage in PvP in a PvP environment. I would love that. I mean, it's up to you, man. If you want to try, I'm open to it. I don't have work right now. So I have a fairly open schedule. You know, I spend time with Maggie, I play games, I do this, you know, that kind of a thing. Well, and I'm not a great helmsman, but I'm pretty decent. I'm better at steering the ship and handling combat and driving and things like that than I am necessarily fighting. I know a lot of people are really, really great at fighting. I'm not. Wow, almost lost it there, and I have no idea why. That charger was literally frozen, and I walked over to pick something up. They were in the process of dying, and then all of a sudden I took damage from an unknown force. Sometimes this game, man. And there's a lot of stuff like that that I cannot explain. My last death, I went from full health to nothing in a tenth of a second. And I have no idea what caused it. And when I look on the thing as to what caused me, what killed me, it was a regular mob. Just a Joe Blow, no special, no elite, no anything, a regular mob. And when I went back and looked at, you know, like what was happening, like in my gameplay, because I remember like I took like a recording or something, there was only one mob on the screen, a non-elite. I have no clue, man. They need more details. Like they need more info, more like buff info. Like what's causing things to happen to me? Like I want like a log, you know? Because it'll help me to learn about the game. And I care. There's no reason they shouldn't have it. I mean, it's effectively the same thing that's happening on the back end. They just need to make a text public display of it and allow people to have access to it, and you'd be good to go. I don't know, the little things. Man. Nope. You try to get me. You're trying. You're trying. I'll give it to you. You're really going for me, but I ain't gonna let you have it. All right. Yeah. I'm up for whatever. If you want to do stuff, great. If not, that's great. I'm always open to playing. I'm open to, like, hey, let's harass players. I'm open to let's not harass players. I'm open to, like, let's just finish stuff. But ultimately, my focus is definitely try and get as much XP and accommodations and finishing of the PvE elements of the game. Because that's what I want to do. It's just see the game. And it's very grindy, I'm sure you also know. It takes a long time to finish stuff. Even when you're just doing basic missions, it can take a long time to finish stuff. And you always run the risk of, like, hey, here's 3 hours worth of work that's suddenly missing and gone because someone came in and stole everything. Just bad luck. Kind of like this. Yeah. I mean, I'm good. I'm good with whatever. I ultimately just want to see most of the elements of the game, and I'm sure that there's like some, PvP achievements or whatever that I probably would need to get, but I'm more focused on the PvE aspect or side of things because most of it's all like get this accommodation and finish that and earn this title and whatever. But I haven't killed all the bosses. Like I've killed a Kraken and I've killed the Megalodon. But I don't think I've done all the interactions that are along with it. Like, where you fight the Megalodon in specific environments. I don't think I've done all the skull forts or the bases. I don't think I've done all that stuff. And I know that you get specific missions after you've gotten, reached a specific accommodation level. I just ultimately need to spend a disproportionately absurd amount of time in that game in order to experience all that that game has to offer. Cool. I don't even know what to spend money on in that game. You know what I mean? Like, the really cool thing is that they allow you to get free stuff, like free in-game currency. Sorry, real-world currency, in-game real-world currency, by just playing the game. I really like that. I think that that's a very, very smart thing. Because, you know, most games, like, you have to pay for stuff. That's the only way that you can get it, is that you have to pay for stuff. It takes a lot longer to do it through Sea of Thieves without paying, but they allow you to do it, which is freaking cool. Come on, where's the taunt? Why did that take so long? All right, refill my HP. Start freeing some prisionaries. Oh, the free battle pass has the coins as well. That's cool. I didn't know that you could do that, and I hadn't played often enough. I think I hit like level 4, level 5 on the free battle pass, you know, because I wasn't playing much. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, here's some small cosmetic things that I really don't care that much about, because I don't care about the cosmetics that often. And great, I'm getting some. Good. And that's where I left off. $50 plus or minus, yeah. And that would be a lot. That would be a hell of a lot. But like I said, I'm up to whatever. You know, if you guys are available, great. If not, that's fine too. I'll probably play every once in a while, here or there. And, you know, if you guys want to play, great. If not, then I've got tons of games to play. I know Sammy wants to play still. Smurf occasionally wants to play. Oh my holy shep. Bro. How's work? How's life? How's everything? Escape, buddy. Gotta fill me in. There's so many missing details. Yeah, no problem. I'll be here. Always here. Well, at some point I won't be, but, you know, cross that bridge. Boop. All right, taunt, blood wave. Probably should have moved away from that just in case, but it's fine. Because I don't have life on kill right now. Sorry to hear that work's crazy and life's crazy, but I get it. You know, I'm in the same position. I was talking about it a little bit earlier with Soldierino that I'm out of work right now. Trying to find a gig. I actually applied to be the SEO manager of St. Jude's because they opened up the role. They didn't take me. However, they provided really good feedback and said that they really liked me in the interview. That I came highly recommended, but the time and experience within the space wasn't enough, and that very distinctively the C-suite team was looking for someone with more experience, which that's fine. I get it. It's a really big organization and they're trying to succeed out of the gate. It's fine. They've never had an SEO manager previously and they're looking for one. They said that they might open up spots or roles, you know, as the team grows or as their team expands. So, you know, be mindful or be aware, you know, be ready for that. So I'm just going to wait and see if a position opens up for like an individual contributor, and then reapply. But in the meantime, I still got to find work. Enjoying gaming, not really streaming as often as I would probably like, considering I'm not working right now. but trying to do it a little bit more. I didn't want to do it because of like hardcore and the risk that it ran running hardcore and like not paying attention for that quarter of a second, reading text, whatever. And I've died so many times that I just don't care anymore. So, you know, if I die again and I'm on stream, whatever. That's life. That's what the people say. All right, question. Shadow Blight or Kalen's Edict? I think I'm going to try Kalen's Edict and see. I've been running previously Shadow Blight, but I don't think it ticks often enough. And I don't like that. So I want to do the improved attack speed and then focus on the cults of the leader and see what I can come up with in terms of raw damage with my team. But the survivability of them long term is where I struggled when I was like level 70, 71. So I'm gonna have to focus on like armor generation off of cults of the leader and see if I can increase their survivability that way, and then see if the attack speed increase pays out well enough. How's the environment over there? I've heard crazy things about the economy and the state of the nation within, the island world, as it were. Hopefully you're staying sane. I know work can always be hectic, but again, also that's life. Especially with the changeover. I was talking about that recently, and it's funny. I think that's part of the reason why some of the things are happening to Reddit and Twitch and everything else. I'd love someone else's take on it. But everyone's removing third-party advertisements and third-party cookies, and so accordingly, a lot of these companies are having to make knee-jerk reaction decisions, and it's changing the way that they run their business. And on the outside perspective, the way people are looking at the state of the industry, they just see it as like they're money grubbing and they don't care. And I'm like, no, they're about to lose a whole lot of business. Oh God, that's awful. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Ugh. Everyone's in a rough way, man. These past couple of years have really challenged us. The way the money, economic industry, and this economic state is, there's a lot of issues there that people are having to deal with. It's one thing after another. Ugh, do I want to try and make a run to the Legion? That's 5 minutes. I don't need it. Gotcha. Well, I mean, hey, good if you can still use that. Of course, I'm always trying to avoid any CPC. You should have some, right? But CPC budget should fall because, naturally, third-party cookies, third-party spending, advertisement tracking is going to change. So, like, you shouldn't be spending as much because it's not going to be as accurate. However, you should be spending outside of your area. Because now we're moving back to the traditional marketing model, like, classical marketing model, where it's like, well, we know that the US is really strong in Pepsi products, especially within the Chicago state, right? So we should definitely market to like the Chicago area, but everyone. We don't care who, just has to be an area. That would work, and that would work well. But I think a lot of industries, a lot of marketing companies aren't going to think along those lines. They're going to think along the current attribution model where like, oh, I know that Bob likes candy and likes Milky Way only and is 20 to 35 and only shops on Saturdays. Like these highly specific models are going to be dead. And so ad spend for those highly specific models should naturally drop. But core market spend should go up, in my opinion. I don't think most of the people are going to do that, though. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry you have to deal with that struggle. And that is a struggle. And it sucks. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I think that SEO is definitely going to change heavily within these next couple months. Especially on July 1st. That's obviously when the major shift starts. For the most part. Obviously, if you don't have a paid account, then it happens on July 1st. But if you had a paid account, previously paid account, then you get a little bit, you get another year until July 1st, 2024. Most people weren't on paid accounts though, because that costs money. I'm sure, you know, the big brands, HubSpot and Ahrefs and major companies, Best Buy and all them, they probably were. But yeah, most of the GA products they're gone. No one was spending money on those. Yeah, I think, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to fall back to that traditional marketing model. People are just going to have to think like old world marketers, like go out and actually do the legwork and ask people questions and do stuff first party. It's going to be a lot of understanding how to ask people questions on surveys, forums, doing traditional marketing transition that way, and like asking them firsthand, like, what do you think about X, Y, or Z? And just being honest, being upfront. And I think that level of transparency will create success for a lot of businesses, but most people won't want to do it because 1, it's time, 2, it costs money, 3, it creates transparency that's too transparent, and they think that that's going to run a risk. It's not going to be like that anymore. You want to hit your Generation Z, tell them exactly what you're doing. Just tell them. It's the same thing I was talking about with the videos earlier in YouTube. I don't want to watch a video where some guy runs a fluff conversation for 7.5 hours and then tells me in the last 10 minutes or somewhere in the middle, 10 minutes, about exactly what I came there for. I don't need that. Tell me the details, let me walk away. I will subscribe to your shit if you are upfront with the information that I'm looking for. Unfortunately, most people aren't. Here we are. Yeah, no, I know. HubSpot's system for their CMS is a great way that they're making money. And the fact that a lot of their content is run off of, you have to use like a web app, you have to use their service in order to, you know, you have to go to their website in order to use their service. I mean, God, man, you want to talk about a way to generate traffic. Canva did the same thing. TikTok, same thing. All these, like Shein, all those producers, you have to use the same thing. Like Shein used the review model. We're going to send out a ton of free product, but we have to generate like real and authentic reviews in order to use our products on our website, not your own content. Makes it look authentic and genuine, which increases the likelihood that people buy product from that website. It's genius. Most people don't do that. Most marketing won't do that because there's not enough return. I almost died. I just got double charged and almost died. That's what I get for not paying full attention. Soldierino's like, what the? Literally lost the character almost in an instant there. Freelancing with Canva and ChatGPT. So, hold on. Are you doing freelance content creation and freelance? Whoops. Okay. I set the controller down for a second. No need to use all my essence. You're doing free like content creation and like banner generation, image creation, stuff like that. Is that what you mean? So like you're just generating like media, text-based, you know, that kind of stuff. I assume you're editing it after, I hope. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about doing like maybe through Upwork or one of those third-party vendor labor companies, doing something where I try and just do contract like individual contribution services. That's scary. It might be what I have to do though, unfortunately. But I'm trying to reach out to contacts first, like people who I know within the space, people who might, you know, need an individual contributor, and then just run that route instead, and then go from there. But I don't know. I just did one for some trying to start a VR company, production publication company that focuses on adult VR entertainment. Because apparently no one is a publisher in that space. I get why. You know, because of adult publication and the challenges of adult publication. But I'm open to try. And since no one's there, it's a lot more likely that we get clients because no one's doing it. Who knows? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'd be excited if it does. But it gives me something to do with my time. We're in the startup stages, of course. But we already have some leads on potential clients who are looking to publish, and that can be really powerful, especially on Steam. You know how easy it is to publish on Steam. But that would be a hell of an SEO story. Succeeding in the adult space, that's a case study right there. Because no one wants to touch that. He's part of it. He is the person who approached me about lending time and money into creating that whole brand and that whole company. He was like, "Hey, I know you do this. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would be. That sounds like fun." And like a challenge. And I'm invested. And we were kind of talking about that earlier with VR, and that I'm not against adult entertainment. If that's what people want to do, that's their business. As long as they're doing it within a consensual and adult environment, whatever, man. I don't care. Have fun. Enjoy life. Live your life. Yeah, I know, right? Right? You should be. But yeah, literally that's he was looking into it and he's like, holy crap, there's no production publication companies within this space. Like, the only way that people are putting their stuff out is like free open media. So we thought, like, hey, why don't we create a publication company then who works on getting people's VR games and produces. No, not his goodbye one. I wasn't there for that. I think I watched some of his streams leading up to, but I can't remember, who was I watching on the actual goodbye mixer stream? Oh, God. I don't remember who I was watching. I know I was there for the last day. Yeah. I do remember him talking about it, and I think he had reposted part of it to Patreon or part of it to like YouTube, or not YouTube. God, what's his other platform that he uses? He uses another one. It's like a creative drawing, artistic, channel. Artists use it to draw and showcase their artwork and their designs and things like that. But he was using that one, I'm pretty sure, to repost some of the content from that. Well, I can't. All right, I guess I have to port to get rid of stuff real fast. Apologize. But yeah, I remember watching part of that and remembering that it was very TOS unfriendly, which I don't. Last day of Mixer, go nuts, man. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Live your life. We were, Soldierino and I were talking about the state of Kick and the state of the nation too with that. And I think part of the reason why Twitch is running through, kind of as I was getting at, part of the reason why Twitch and everyone else is running through the problems that they're running through is because of that exact thing. They cannot attribute their marketing to the correct things that they want to attribute it to, and accordingly, they are bleeding money. And because they're bleeding money, they have to find a new way to not bleed money. And here we are. I was using a level 6 offhand? Why? Where did I even get that? How was I doing so well? Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Apparently. But yeah, like one of the reasons Twitch has to shift their ads and their revenue and everything is because of that, because they can't attribute advertisement revenue, because now the way that third-party marketing is going to work for all those companies who wanted to previously place ads on the platform, they aren't going to get as much follow-through or lead back from it. So if they can't track it and track the metrics, the leads are now less valuable. So Twitch isn't going to gain as much income from it. So they're trying to find a new way to do that. And the public has no fucking clue that that's what they're doing and why they're doing it. No clue. They just see the back end. I'm going to make less money. I'm going to jump platforms. And Kick's in the Netherlands, and they don't give a shit. Something like that. They're in a place where they allow for gambling, so they literally do not care. And accordingly, they're still using trackable methods. So I'm sure ads probably don't want to touch it because it's still got a bunch of adult content. But when they start getting to the point where they're running advertisements and running everything else, then yeah, they're going to have a different issue. But I don't know how Kick's investing their money. But I would be really interested to know, because there's no way that they're making as much as they are in income right now. They've got to be using some portfolio or something to get recurring wealth. You know, passive wealth. And then using that as like, this is how we make money. Which, that's fine. Like, if you've got someone who runs that in the space and they're investing into, you know, casinos or whatever, and that's just under the umbrella of Kick, fine. It's their business. But I'd be really interested to know how they're pulling that off, because on the back end, there's no way that they should be making enough money to be able to support a $100 deal to XQC and however much they just paid Amaranth. I can only imagine what Amaranth's content's going to look like on Kick versus on Twitch. It's going to be different. My guess. It's going to be different. She'll probably draw in some new viewers. And some new underage viewers, which is a different bad problem. But, again, also talked about that. If you're of age and consenting, you do whatever you want to do, man. Do it in the right channels. Do it in a way that people can't find it. Obviously, that shouldn't, but you do whatever you want to do. It's not my business. Plenty of times Twitch has showed content that's really unacceptable. Plenty of times that, you know, Kick is going to show content that's really unacceptable. You're going to have it. It's going to be a part of the space, which I get. Just a matter of what you do with it in the future that makes a difference. Well, now stuff's dying a little bit faster, now that I've changed my DPS to be a little bit more feasible. I'm getting 3,000 point crits. The game is the game, yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, people push buttons every once in a while just because that's the thing to do to gain traction. It's age-old marketing, you know, be toxic, be wild, be inventive. You know, if it pushes the button just across the line and skirts the line, it probably could be a good thing, because any PR is good PR, assuming you have content to be launched. If you're not doing anything and then have bad PR, yeah, that's freaking bad, man. You're not gonna have a fun time. But, you know, if you got some stuff happening, yeah, you're gonna have a good day. Because people are gonna come check it out. I mean, how many times have I gone to watch a streamer that I would never watch just because they said some bad nonsense and I want to see if it's actually accurate news? Yep, turns out it is. Well, you know, sometimes. Not all the time. Shrines, man. Shrines. What are you gonna do without them? So I increased my survivability by swapping to a shield for right now. It is a better upgrade, obviously, for an offhand anyways, from the level 6 some odd item that I was using. So I should have a little bit more HP. I'm also getting HP on kill now, so I'll be a lot more survivable when I'm just corpse exploding everything to death, which also increases my fortify at the exact same time that I'm killing. Can't complain. Just a test. Oh, no bots here. No bots here. I don't have any ability to even get a bot to integrate with the YouTube system. But that's not the word anyways. I did end up starting to fix a lot of my stream issues. I don't think I have empty chair yet, but I do have my lights and my music all back. When I had come back in May at the start, I ended up having to do a lot of fixing, and some of it I was doing live. Like fixing issues while I'm talking about it, while I'm streaming, while I'm playing a game, you know, whatever. And then having people test it on the spot. Medic was helping a little bit with that as well. But yeah, been having to do a lot of fixing. Most of my stuff is back online. Most of it. But I have to get empty chair back. That was a little bit more challenging because of how that system worked, like how it was built. And I'm doing it all myself because Smurf's too busy to mess with that. But yeah, they need, that's what I was talking about earlier with they need bot support because they don't have bot support here on YouTube, like at all. If they did, then great, but you can't get any system to integrate with YouTube. That's really challenging. Holy crap, am I gonna pull this off? I might pull this one off. I think I've only ever gotten this mastery once, but they better spawn something in. Okay, one more. Spawn it in. Spawn it in. There we go. A lot of times they don't spawn in the enemies fast enough for you to get the kill credit because it's like on a rotation. You know, you have to kill X amount of enemies. But then even if you kill the entire screen, like wipe the board, they don't spawn in the next wave quickly enough for you to get mastery. That's one of the most challenging ones, and I rarely ever finish it. I'm incredibly thankful that I pulled that off. The XP will help some. You know, it's only 1 bar, but it is what it is. I'll take what I can get. Which I appreciate you guys being here. It's fantastic to have you guys here. It's good to see you guys, interact with you guys. I know I haven't been doing as much, but hopefully I can get some time while I'm out of work to do some content creation, have some fun, do some charity hype, which we did pretty well. The play live season hit 1650. I bumped up the goal to 2K. It runs year round, so maybe we can hit 2K before the end of the year. I know everyone's kind of tight right now on budgets. I don't blame them. Shit, I'm really tight right now on budgets, but sitting here talking about whether or not I want to spend $16 for a BattleBit remastered shit. But yeah, hopefully we can hit 2K. Shit, if I get work back, I'll just donate the rest myself. I talked to Antoine about it. I'm allocating all the subs and everything from Twitch and Patreon and everything towards charity. I probably won't for the next couple, but I'll just pay it back once I get a job. Because, again, don't have work. Trying to get whatever I can out. But yeah, it might be smart to do some contract work, like you said, Escape. I'll just do it in the U.S. market. Granted, you're probably also in the U.S. market, but do it in the U.S. market so it doesn't infringe upon your business model. This should be a pretty easy fight. So again, I'm going to focus on shedding corpses on the boss early, so that the second half of the fight is relatively simple. No losses in my minions yet, which is good. I've got one miasma down. I'm about to stagger the boss. Miasma corpse explosion spam with Sever. And the boss is dead. Done. Easy. Alright, so there's 2 more dungeons. There's one here and one there, but I can't access them right now. So I'm going to go over here to these in Breistic. How do you say that? Breistic. And I might stop soon. Yep, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I know that the area is like Scottish-y. All the people sound like they're from Scotland, you know? I don't know the authentic influence, but they all very, very heavily sound Scottish in accent. A lot of content about druids and druidic nature, which is also like a play on old Irish and Scottish lore around like fairies and druids and things like that. So there's a lot of heavy influence from, you know, the western, northwestern island environment. So I don't know how to pronounce that. Not a specialist in that space. But some of it does end up sounding Germanic, and I don't know enough about history to know if like Germans had a whole lot of influence. I know that German tribes had tried to take over previously. I know the Gauls ended up taking over. Those are French. I don't know. I don't know enough. But I was interested in it. I actually was hoping. I have to see if anyone's out there that knows about where I can get like audiobooks, rather through Spotify or through another platform. I really don't care. But audiobooks on educational format, so more like, you know, what is it, nonfiction? Whether it be history or, you know, traditional educational applications. So, you know, marketing or, I don't know, home renovations, economics, just stuff that would help me in general. But like free audiobooks, because, you know, a lot of times I'm just sitting here on the computer playing games. Like I could have an audiobook running in the background educating me while I'm playing and learn something. I was recently listening to a podcast, but it was really heavy, like very heavy, pushing a narrative. And that's the only thing I don't like about some of the user stuff is it's not that books can't have their own agenda, but I would like a little bit more centric view on whatever topic I'm learning about. A lot of the podcasts are very heavily pushing one side or another, and I don't like that. I want to be able to hear the facts and decide for myself.
Everyone in the Glen fought too. They died first, Titan. Bless you. Soon after, I'm ashamed to say I hid.
I'm sure you can probably hear the conversation, like the
Let it be known that we
accent.
in sacrifice to the light.
It definitely sounds Scottish in nature. I'm not a specialist on the area, but it was a very quiet audio. That particular book that I just picked up was very quiet in-game audio. But yeah, they're normally a little bit louder, but I don't know if it's because the person's like dying or whatever. Whatever. All right, that's done. Let's then move on. Oh, I'm an idiot. I should be running a double stack of that just for the essence generation more than I am anything else. Shit. Okay. So I just had a thought that I'll end up having a damage increase. So this is kind of crazy. But I'll end up having a damage increase by the attack speed of my minions, right? So I was trying to decide between... I don't know what just happened there. I guess I exited out somehow. I was trying to decide between Shadow Blight, which increases the damage generation by the amount of times that I've attacked a minion, or sorry, an enemy with shadow damage, which I have 2 skills that use, versus Kalen's Edict, which increases the attack speed of my minions. And the thought process behind that was, if the survivability of my minions is low, then they won't receive the buff or the effect, right? Because they'll be dead. So I get nothing. Versus, no matter what, even if they're dead, I'm still generating damage. Every 10th, I do additional damage. But, exactly correct. So the greater the attack speed, with my Book of the Dead, Skeletal Mages, Cold, the ability that I chose, every time the Cold Mages deal damage to an enemy with their primary attack, I gain 2 essence. If I have 5 mages that all tick their primary attack at double the rate, I'm gaining essence at a faster rate. If I'm gaining essence at a faster rate, I can use Sever more often, and Sever is my primary ability. So I will have a greater damage output by increasing the essence generation that I'm receiving from my skeletal mages than I would doing an every 10th attack I get like a damage buff on Sever. Yeah, I think that that's technically the better way to go. Again, focusing on a Sever build. Previously, I was focusing on Blight. And Blight doesn't do as much damage to, again, single boss, but it does great for AoE. So previously, I was doing great in AoE situations, and I didn't really see that much of an issue, but then I started to run into problems inside of dungeons because I couldn't kill elites, I couldn't kill bosses, I couldn't kill whatever. However, with the damage buff that I will be receiving in the way that I'm doing my building now, my talent building, I think that I will end up seeing the impact that that will create by changing that build. So I think I'm going to run Kalen's Edict and see if I can notice the change or the difference. Because I've got another stacking skill or ability that I can put points into that increases their attack speed as well. So I'll have 2 skills that increase the attack speed of my minions. So after you've been healthy for at least 4 seconds, which is 80% or higher in HP, you and your minions gain 4% attack speed. I can have 3 points in that for a total of 12. And then I'll also put points into Hellbent Commander, which increases the amount of damage that they do while I'm close to them, which it's pretty much like if they're on the screen, I'm doing more damage or they're doing more damage. So if I'm standing next to my mages, which should pretty much be all the time, then they'll do increased damage at a higher rate, generating more essence for me, which allows me to do more damage and shed more corpses, which generates more damage and more essence for me, for a cascading effect of damage. Damage, 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 more damage, 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 for more damage. But do you damage, bro? Do you? That was a waste of a conduit shrine, but it's all right. There was no one near me. There's no way to get to that. I wouldn't have been able to make it to the area that I have to get to in the first place in the amount of time that it would take to keep conduit, so it was a loss no matter what. If I had approached and like went left instead of right, then I probably would have had some use out of it, but it's fine. It's all, everything is fine. Yep, wall off. Whoa, 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 why am I on the other side? Why am I on the other side? Why did I get teleported? Why am I teleported? What the f... That is not how that works. And then my scroll of escape didn't even work, which I didn't need it, but what a load of shit. What a load. I would have died. I would have died. I'd have been pissed. See, that's the random stuff that I feel like I've been dealing with, where like something happens that absolutely should not happen in the game, and then I end up dead because of it. And I'm like, come on, man, really? Like, this is why I die? This? Oh, nice. That ought to be fun. I've always loved the Thief titles. So, like, I don't know, did you ever play, like, Thief? Like, Out of the Shadows, Cursed from the Shadows, Chicken Finger from the Shadows, whatever it's called, from the Shadows. Insert something from Shadows here to make it sound thiefy. You've seen videos? That was actually a bit of trivia. That was the first game I ever did a live stream on, here on the Twitch platform, back in 2013 or 14 or whatever. The original Thief game, streamed right from my Xbox. The first ever Xbox. Well, sorry, not of the Xbox One generation. Because, you know, that was a launch title. Came out literally on, like, day one. And I always loved Thief. Was a big fan of the Thief series. They did a really good gameplay concept, and it was never focused on combat. It was like you actually need to spend time and take time to, you know, steal. Because if you fight your way through stuff, you're not going to have a good time. Like, things are going to kill you. You're a thief. That's not what you're here for. You don't have any armor. It was good. It was a good game. It was a good rendition to the title, but it wasn't great. But it was fun. I liked it. I've actually got to go back and finish that game. I beat it, but I didn't play it on... I think I played it on hard, but there was, like, other missions or something that you could do. I don't remember. Something I missed. Yeah, fell into the toilet from the shadows. That's probably, like, the expansion to the third one. I don't think I played that one, per se. Something about toilet combat that... I don't know. As a person who suffers from IBS, I felt attacked. DLC, yeah. Well, back then they didn't have DLC. They just made whole new games. The one that came out in the Xbox generation, they had DLC, but their original titles from like back in 1998 and 2000 and whatever, they didn't have DLC back then. They had to come out with a whole brand new disc. That wasn't feasible. Like, production wants to buy or create a whole brand new disc? No. No, absolutely not. Like, you have to go onto the company's website to download a patch even, and no one knew how to do that because it would break the entire game and explode your computer. No one wanted to do that. No one. Then they came out with launchers back in like 03, 04. They started to finally have launchers where all the patches would download and do all the work for you. And then Steam came out because launchers started to get big. And that was like 07. Well, Steam was out before that. They had original generation Steam before Orange Box, but Orange Box blew Steam up. Optimized. What do you mean optimized? You know, I probably would have died if it weren't for me replacing that shield. I probably would have been dead. Oh, hi. Oh, hey, person. Oh, hey, person thing. How are you? How's life? How's the kids? I mean, I know we've talked like somewhat recently. Yesterday? Yesterday? Something. Just got home from work. Oh, 80 Ti for what looks like 3080. Not the cheapest, though. I'll tell you what, man. I think a lot of games struggle with optimization. They're just like, I don't know, I mean, all these graphics cards have so much power and, you know, the market really hasn't changed that much. And then you've got games like that Unreal 5 ultra-realistic SWAT game that's coming out. And that's, you know... Everyone's thinking like you need like a supercomputer to even run it. And I have a feeling it's gonna be like one of those situations where you need like a 1080. It's like how the hell? Like optimize your game. They're full again? I just cleared them. All right, whatever. I need a quantum computer. I'm sure he knows who you are. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. Yeah, pretty much. A NASA computer to play Star Citizen these days. All right, I need to see if I can find a pair of gloves. There's no gloves. Okay, new helmet. Weapons, no. Boots. 398. Yeah, that's pretty far off. Boots. Oh wait, do I get skeletal warriors? Okay, I'm putting those back because I need the damage buff. I get a huge damage buff from that, so I don't want to risk that. If I can find another one that gives me skeletal warriors, like absolutely. 268 damage for an offhand level 29. Cooldown reduction, crowd duration. Sure, 268. What are we at? 653, 636. That's a lot of life sustainability, though. I'm going to keep those on. Okay, and darkness skill damage. Movement, speed, healing received, thorns. Oh, but I get the bubble. Yeah, I need the bubble, because I don't even get any effect from that corpse tendril stuff. Alright, so I'm going to hold on to that one. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, these days, the minimum requirement is so much different than the maximum that it's silly. It really is. Like, you look at, like, Tarkov, and you actually don't need much to get that game started. But to see all of the benefit of Tarkov, you need, like, 7 computers working together. Like, I don't even think anyone can even run Tarkov on, like, a 4K stream at maximum graphics. You want to talk about not optimized? Like, who's the hell is the market audience for that? Like, server computers? Get out of here. Yeah, I started playing a little bit of the offline, and my PC keeps on crashing. Like, it's progressively getting worse. Like, my PC crashing, I mean. And it's not because of the graphics card. I've replaced the power supply. I've replaced the RAM. The CPU's fine. I just think it's the board. I think I've got a bad board. And it's just constantly crashing. So that's where I'm at right now. Me dealing with a constantly crashing computer. It sucks. It sucks. Ooh, okay. There we go. There's an upgrade. No. Deposit. 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 7. It's not valuable. 488. So I'm looking like basically 450 or above on item power or power level or whatever. 224. Oh, that's a 447. That's a pretty big upgrade. Yeah, I'm up to 731 on damage. Perfect. More if I stand still. So let's see here. Deposit. We're going to put that away. Two characters per raid? Well, I mean, anything is considered a raid, right? So like anything that you do is a raid. You can play solo. I think playing on live service sucks. That's me. Because people are way too good at that game and spend way too much time consistently and continuing to play good at that game. Like, they grind on that more than they do here in Diablo. Like, they grind for loot constantly. And then you just, like, have people who, they just have the absolute best equipment. And there's such a large gap in that world versus in this one or, you know, other games that are similar, that it just creates this, like, whole skill wide gap. But yeah, offline Tarkov or SP Tarkov is a lot of fun. You'd probably enjoy yourself, Soldier, you know. I played it a little bit live previously, which I guess technically you're not supposed to do because it's a conflict of interest. I'm like, I've purchased the game. Like, I own rights to play the game. I think the problem is that it creates the attitude that players can download the single player version for free and pirate it, which, okay. I get it. Like, oh, well, the streamer did it, so I went and downloaded the single player game, but I don't own the game. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, I enjoy playing the single player game. My downside right now is that, again, my gaming computer is crashing like nobody's business. I mean, I can't even play simple games like Monster Train without it exploding. And it's not heat. I've already tested that. My heating levels are fine. It just something. It's a different crash log every time too. It always says something completely different. It's like, oh, it's you weren't getting enough power. Oh, your voltage is bad on your RAM. Oh, we don't know. It just shut down. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I need, man. And so I was thinking once I get a job, I told Maggie I'll probably just do a new build. Oh, sure. Wait, Tuesday? Oh, no. No. Tomorrow I'm busy. I have a busy day tomorrow. Maggie and I are going to a concert, and she's getting off work early, and we're gonna go see someone. And AMD Ryzen 7 2700X. I think I have a 3700X lying around. I just never swapped it because, you know, like, I don't want to swap a CPU and then have that be an issue. But the 3080 Ti is fine. It's running fine to my knowledge. I don't think there's an issue with it because I was having crashes before I swapped the CPU. I replaced the power supply, and for like 6 or 7 months, it got a lot better. Like, it was rarely crashing, and then now I'm crashing again. I don't think it's the power supply. I think it's the motherboard if I had to guess. But like I said, at this point, I'm really, really likely just going to wait, get a job, and just do a whole brand new build, buy parts from Newegg, use the 3080 Ti, call it a day. No, I get it. I appreciate that. I feel like I want to start from scratch. It could even be my freaking hard drive, man. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think it is, but I don't know. It's just one of those situations. I remember that build being a bad build too, like having issues with it when I was putting it together. So it made me think too, like I should just restart from the ground up, and hopefully that works. I don't know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I've got a 5400 or something like that chipset that I thought about selling. So Maggie was at work and they were just gonna like throw it away or something. Whoops. They were gonna throw it away, and so she just took it. Which may or may not have crossed the line, but like once it's in the trash can, it's, I think, considered not theft because it's been tossed. I don't know the rules, but we did do that once with like a display that like someone just let the tip of it touch the trash can, and then they helped them move it into their car or something, like a display unit. Oh, I think I'm actually running something similar to a Tomahawk in my stream computer, because my stream computer has, I think I'm using the 470 because that's running the Ryzen 9. That was when I got like that 5900 for a ridiculously low price. It was like 189 bucks or something stupid. And I was like, hell yeah. But there was some error or something on Micro Center's website, and I went up there. I was like, I need to go up there now. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I need to go up and buy this thing. So I went up and bought like a 5900X, and the 5950 was like 750 bucks or something. I was like, well, I don't need it, but I ended up very heavily utilizing my 5900 with all the work that I did in SEO and everything else. Like, I've had no problems with my computer, my streaming computer. Though right now I've got a sleeveless bearing that's going bad in my power supply. So I'm probably just going to open up my power supply on my streaming computer, which I need to do. Find out the dimensions of the fan because it looks thinner. Like, it looks like a 20 millimeter or something like that instead of a standard 40. Or 30, whatever the standard is. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it looks smaller than normal, thinner than normal. Pull that out, order a new one on Amazon, and just put that in, replace it. Go from there. Because I don't want to have my power supply cut out. Though there's enough, like, redundancy and power failure safety measures in place that if the power were to fail because it overheats or whatever, like, the computer will just shut down. I'm not worried about that, but... Ooh! Ooh-wee! Okay, move, please. There we go. Yeah, it is fun. I'm to the point anymore, like in my old age, where I basically just want to, you know, get the parts, put it together, and call it a day. You know, plug and play, call it a day. But every single build that I've done historically has always had something go wrong. Always. Regardless of what is different. But I just had bad luck. You know, I have really bad luck with a lot of things. I remember one time Smurf was walking me through everything. And he's like, it should run. Like, maybe you just have a DOA part. I don't know. And I remember pulling everything apart, putting it back together, and it just ran. Like, the last time, I was like, honestly, if it doesn't work this time, I'm going to take this back as a DOA part. I don't know. But I did this, I did that. Like, everything is okay. I don't know. This should work. Didn't work, didn't work, didn't work, didn't work. I remember praying, pulling it all out, pulling everything out, checking the risers again, checking this again, checking that again, doing everything the exact same way that I'd been doing it. And I pushed the button, it turned on, and I was like, son of a bitch. What did I do? What did I do? But Smurf always thought that I somehow, like, accidentally grounded on a part. You know, like, I grounded myself on a motherboard, and that's why it's finicky. Like, it's not consistently bad, but that's why my gaming computer's crashing, is that somehow I caused some sort of, like, static electricity or overload or whatever. And it's been a problem ever since. So I just figured, screw it, I'll do a new build. I'll update to something a little bit more modern with my gaming computer. And then keep the 3080 Ti that you sent me, because that's still a powerhouse of a GPU. I've got more than enough to handle everything currently. You know, maybe not 3 years from now, but what I'm playing normally, it's fine. And besides, I'm using my console for a lot of my gameplay. Just stuff like, you know, Tarkov and the occasional shooter that pops up that I'm like, ooh, you know, I really want to play this. And then I wouldn't be able to, but whatever, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Besides, if I update my motherboard and make it a little bit more future-proof and spend, you know, $250, $300 on a motherboard, a good one, because I've got a job, then it'll be easy. You know, at the times where I was building my computer, I was always trying to, like, cut costs and look more like a $1,500 build. So, you know, my longevity of the product was a little less long. But yeah, if I build one in a state where I'm pretty happy and healthy, I'm sure it'll be really easy to get something that'll last for a long time. From a gaming perspective, that is. Who knows? Maybe GPUs will be a little bit more reasonable by the time I, you know, get some money, get some income in, and I'll be able to do both or something. You know, do the streaming computer as an update, do the gaming computer as an update. Who knows? All right, focus on that attack speed so I can get the essence generation. It's definitely noticeable. Definitely noticeable. All right, replace my minions. Kill the Gorgon. Grab some stuff. Move on to the next area. Probably in the upper right. Oh, bottom right. Okay. Here we go. Push my way with Sever. Done and done. Okay. Go down in the bottom corner. Grab the last Gorgon. Oop. Oh no, 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 no. That'll one-shot me if it charges me. And it did just charge and destroyed like 4 of my minions at once. It just did it again. I gotta watch this. It's going for a charge. All right. That one's out of the way. Heal my minions back up. I think I probably have to go up and through the middle. A lot of times, that's the way it is. Mages, you gotta get up here. There we go. Gotta have those mages. Can't wait till I get the next two. You know, summon 5 in total. Okay. Full fortify. We're looking healthy right now. Gonna take the left path, which looks like the dungeon boss. Yep. Dodge. It happens every time. Poison rolls in. Come on. Come on. Get some buffs back on my minions. Get them some increased damage. Regen some of their health from all this poison. There we go. Nice stagger. Essence spam. Done. Okay. So that one's good. Nice. Get a claim off of it. We'll go and do the next one. Ugh. Yeah. Holiday pay for the win. Oh, man. So they're already talking about Season 1 with Diablo. I haven't looked into it too much, but I guess they're going to possibly do, like, character resets. You know, for the people who run that way. I don't know. I don't know how all the concept works, but I think, like, when you do the leaderboard, like, your characters reset. I won't do that. I just want to play the game to play the game. Unless it's forced. I guess that would suck. Oh boy, love a good reset. Yeah, I know, right? Bringing the Tarkov community to the rest of the world. But I think they have, like, an arena or something. I think they did that with previous Diablos, Diablo 3, Diablo 2, where, you know, there'd be, like, a character that was built for the reset, and then there was a character that was just, you just play the game. If they did it with everyone, I think they would lose a lot of the community. Like, hey, doesn't matter, we don't care. Like, these are the rules, and this is the current generation, current season. Nah, I think they would lose a lot of traction, which they have a ton of right now because this is the best-selling Diablo that they've ever had. One of the best-selling Blizzard titles that they've ever had, to my knowledge. It's a lot of fun. Oh, I also found out that the statue, like the statue isn't in game. It's at the Blizzard company site. Like they're gonna make a statue of Lilith with 1,000 names like engraved into it or something. So like no one's ever gonna be able to see it. Like I'm sure they'll take pictures and post them online or whatever, but no one's gonna ever have access to it. It's not gonna be immortalized in the game. It's just in person at their company facility. Okay. Guess if I really want to get my random character name stuck at a Blizzard site, fine. Which I don't even know if technically they've hit the 1,000. I know that they have 1,000 level 100s in hardcore that are alive. I don't know if 1,000 of them have posted that picture on Twitter. They might not have hit. I don't know. But I know that was the requirement, is by September, you have to have a level 100 character, which could be when Season 1 starts, a level 100 character, and post it on Twitter with like a specific tag. And if people hit level 100 and just thought like that's all the requirement was, yeah, that I don't think is going to work. But it might be through Instagram as well. It might be through like all social channels, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't know. I didn't go that far. I just saw the one on Twitter. Almost lost this character a couple times today. I don't think you were here yet at the point, Antoine. I think one of them you had just come in, but almost lost this one a couple times. Because, you know, that's the game. That's the game.
You saved my life.
6. I would consider it 4 actual attempts. Like real attempts. The one barbarian I lost to a stupid mistake. That was my fault for sure. That was my first character. Just made a stupid call, went in before I had a cooldown done, and didn't have any potions. Was like, yay, I'm fine. I'm a barbarian. And just walked into a boss fight and died. The second one was when I was level 30. That was one of the disconnect issues. The 38 barb, 39 barb, 38, whatever it was. That was probably my fault. The bosses started to get really, really hard, and I wanted to play Rend. I wanted to play a Rend barbarian, and like I couldn't even kill mobs in the world. Like walking around, minding my own business, just trying to fight stuff. I literally could not kill stuff on my own. I wanted to play Rend barbarian. Apparently, that's not a thing. Decided to swap to Necro, had a much easier time, started powering through stuff, got a little too cocky, did a stronghold at level 20, 21, and died to the boss in the stronghold. That was definitely my fault. I keep on getting ported to the end of these dungeons, and it is not cool. I don't know what glitch is going on right now, but I am not okay with it. That's twice happened now. I almost died earlier to that exact problem with one of them. Lost my 70 with the transformer blowing. And I lost my 48 the other day, like 2-3 days ago, because of that one shot where, I mean, literally in a tenth of a second, half a second, whatever, it was dead. I was at full health, and died to a no-name creature. Joe Blow, random spirit. I can't even explain that. There's no way that one of those can do that much damage. So like something else happened on the screen that I could not see, that wasn't visible, whatever. It was like me standing here like this behind an object, and there's an enemy on the opposite side, and my creatures are all attacking it. And I was just watching the screen, waiting for my minions to take it down, and I'm casting at it like this. I'm at full health with Fortify, and I went from full health to 0 health, and I just kind of looked at the screen. None of the mortars, nothing. No elites, no shit, nothing. Just a regular mob. And I just died. No explanation. No charging mobs, no jumping mobs, no weird effects. It's just a regular spirit. Just hit me, just like that did, but I didn't lose 1/10 of my health. I lost 100% of my health. I don't know, man. It didn't make any sense. I immediately created another character. It was very savage. I was talking about it earlier. I wanted a log. Like, I really want a log to understand what the hell happened so I can at least make sense of things like that. That's all they need, a text log. And it wasn't even like this, like, oh, you killed an elite and something exploded. It was me like this, just like this right now. And like where that corpse is, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, was where the enemy was. And I was casting through the wall like that. And the next thing I know, I'm dead. I have no clue. No clue. In the blink of an eye, just literally died. At least it would be cool if, like, oh, well, actually, there was a minion, an elite, who would come up behind you, and you lagged out for like 1/10 of a second, and then you died, and it just, you know, by the time you came back to, like, in that lag spike, like, you know, you dead, back at the starting screen. Oh, okay. That sucks, but like, okay, that's more explainable than my current situation. Explicable. But I mean, like right now, I can have maulers that are my level, multiple marauders that are my level attacking me, and I'm not dead. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me. I don't know. Something had to have happened that I just did not or could not see. Even ground elements like an ice block or an explosion or something, they don't do that much damage. Something had to have happened that I was not aware of. Curse doesn't do that much. It's like 4% of my HP. I can't tell you how many times I've watched videos of like a really high level player, 85, 90, something like that, and they just stand in most of those effects, those ground effects. I don't even know how, but they do. I'm sure once I get to a point where I've got enough levels or I put points in, like, you know, resistance to elements, then yeah, that'll be a lot more feasible. But right now, even at lower levels, when I was just kind of getting up there, that wasn't something I could pull off. Nice. All right, so it must be up here, and then should be at the boss. Almost level 36, doing well. Catching up pretty quick. I think I've only got like 10 hours or something on this character. The other day I went from 1 to 26 in a 2-hour stream. Something like that. I was hoping to try and hit 15 levels per hour for the first, 2 hours. And then I played a little bit the other night, went from 26 to 28. I was playing real slow. I was doing like one of the main quest lines or something like that. And I've been on for 3 hours today. So I'm doing okay. Probably have like, probably more like 6 or 7 hours in this character so far. Oh, no sweat. No sweat. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for hanging in so long. I know it's late for you. Have a good night's rest. Stay well. Good luck on your exams if we don't chat in the meantime, but I'll be around. Hopefully we can try and work out something to play Sea of Thieves with your helmsman. We can get some time in. I'm sure we'll find some time whether this week or next week or, you know, whatever, but Thursday the 28th, I've got to take Wilson to get surgery on one of his teeth. He's got like a fragmented tooth or something like that, and it's going to cause an infection. We got to take care of it. So that's a bit of an issue, but that's relatively early in the morning. I'll probably end up sleeping a little bit more when I come back because I've got to wake up really early in order to go do that. And then I'll come back, probably take a nap, and then get on. So those are the only other major things that I've kind of got going on right now. And then something in like the early July. I've got an event that I'll be going for a couple days. We'll find some time. Cast. Wow, I'm out of space yet again. Okay, well, we'll get rid of all these blueberries. That'll free up some space. There goes that space. Okay, so I've got the stone. Gotta bring it down. Nah, I won't make it with the conduit shrine. I was hoping I could make it to the boss fight, like after returning the pedestal thing, but I'm not even halfway there. Probably about halfway right now, and it's almost gone. Yeah, that's all right. It's funny taking a conduit shrine into a boss, because they usually die in like 10 seconds. Conduit shrines are so overpowered, it's stupid. Oh, it's just a Khazra abomination. No big deal. Do a little corpse shedding to start my phase 1. Get a little healing buff for my skeletons that are over there. Go stand next to them. Get them a little damage and attack speed buff. And then spam. And watch it melt. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be around. Stay well. All right. So I'm probably going to, just to get some time away, I'm probably going to finish my level real quick here. So it should bring me to, what, 36, 37? Because I only need like a half a bar. 36. I only need a half a bar. Half a fragment, whatever you call it. And then I'll probably hop off for the night. I might be back on tomorrow. Who knows? Probably not, though, because of that event. I don't think I'll be available enough. I've got some other stuff I've got to take care of anyways. I got to try and look up that fan for the computer and see if I can get another one. Might even try and mess with that tonight, just so I can get it prepared. But I appreciate everyone being here. Thanks for anyone who stopped by. Thank you. Had a couple people pop in that we haven't seen in a while, so very exciting. Made one minor change to the build today to hone it a little bit better, which will probably be a little bit dependent on, you know, what loot I end up getting as well in the future, but I think for the most part it'll be beneficial. There we go. There's my ding. So currently we're also working on finishing out dungeons. Yeah, I'm trying to do this a little bit more because, YouTube is probably more beneficial for, like, not me being available, and long-term strategy. It's probably better exposure because it's really high discoverability. The downside is like, you know, retaining people on YouTube is a lot harder. But quick coverage. So we made a change to not Book of the Dead. We made a change to add Kalen's Edict, or Kalen, or however you say that, over Shadow Blight, and then focusing on reinforcing Inspiring Leader, which I just put my last point into for the attack speed, because every single time that I attack with my Cold Essence Skeletal Warriors, I get Essence back. Or Cold Aspect Skeletal Warriors, I get Essence back. The more Essence I have, the more I can cast my Sever, which is more likely to generate corpses. The more corpses I generate, the more Fortify I get, and the more corpses I use, the more damage I do. So it's really like a cascading effect. I still have points that I want to put into Gloom, which increases my shadow damage to targets, which will help my Sever abilities. Probably not Terror, and the only reason I haven't been doing Terror is because it only applies to slowed, stunned, or immobilized. So Freeze has to be apparent, and that doesn't always work on bosses. So for a more consistent build, I'm looking at adding points into the other change that I made to Imperfectly Balanced for the increased damage but increased essence cost, and I'm combating that through the Skeletal Warrior essence generation. I still have to put some points into Skeletal Warrior Mastery, probably put 2 points into Skeletal Mage Mastery, and that'll about round out point spend. Probably have like a point or two to throw around maybe into Thorns, but we'll kind of see as we're getting through it. Either way, I did see the XQC deal. I think it's wild. I was actually just kind of talking about that earlier. We were talking about how, Amaranth is also getting a deal. I don't know how much. I'm assuming her content will probably change once she gets to Kick, because Kick is a little bit more lenient. And that's a really good market for her. I mean, like, it works well. She's got the figure. She's an attractive lady. It'll probably work well within the space. You know, you have a bunch of gamblers and things like that, and of no assuasions to the person. But Amaranth does well with the traditional misogynistic, sexist audience base, because they wouldn't pay her. But power to her. Hopefully she does well on the platform. I think a lot of people are migrating to Kick. Like, a lot of people from Twitch are migrating to Kick, and I think it makes sense. I think a lot of these companies are facing, and I was talking about it a bit with Scape earlier, a lot of these companies are facing a lot of pushback in the marketing industry because of the changes that are applying to Google Analytics and third-party cookies come July 1st. And a lot of these companies are making decisions to benefit and combat the money that they're losing through advertisements, because the market is no longer attributable. So you can't tell where your ads are coming from, who's coming from, what the audience range is, and then using that to get better data, and then spending better on specific individuals because you know it's likely to work. Now it's going to have to be like old marketing concepts where you just kind of put up a billboard and hope that you get people interested. Do community and do labor and do hard work. And most of the companies aren't used to that. They aren't going to spend that. They don't want to spend that because it's not guaranteed. Whereas before, the way PPC was working, it was a lot more guaranteed. Your success story was a lot more guaranteed. And now it's not going to work that way. With that in mind, I think a lot of people are going to kind of fall off the wagon. A lot of these businesses are going to kind of deteriorate, diminish. Twitch being one of them. Because they don't have a way to attribute those ad successes anymore. And if they can't do that, then they can't get people like advertisement companies coming in to spend the money. If they can't do that, then they have to find other ways of pulling in revenue, which means pulling from subs, drawing from other things. It's just not going to work. They have to find a way to reach back out to the community and grow community success, which means helping very small streamers succeed and reinforcing back into that market, because the more eyes you can keep on the platform, the more they make in ads. The more they make in ads, the more they make in money and profits year over year. So I know it's not a simple answer or a simple solution, but you have to get small users bought in permanently. Yeah, I'll chat with you more about it, text you about it, I'm sure. But either way, Everyone who's here, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I know I was on for 3-ish hours. Kind of a close call to the old days. Hope to see more people. Stay well, stay blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Peace.